Good nasty on a Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Carey Davis off for the next couple of days. It's the Fast Lane 201. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. If you want to participate in the show, you know how to reach us. You can get involved via the 101 ESPN app. It's free to use. Leave us a mic drop. Or, of course, the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Shout out to the Snake Pit, our 101 ESPN YouTube channel. So various ways that you can be a part of the show today. We're going to be talking a lot of Cardinals. We're getting to some NHL playoffs. Battlehawks suffered their second loss, of the season. Talk about what that means. Jamie's got some thoughts, too, on Pat Maroon, some comments that the Pride of Oakville made and how that relates to maybe Jamie's career and some spots that Jamie's been in the past. But, of course, we start off with the Cardinals. They dropped 3 of 4 in Milwaukee. They were headed for a sweep yesterday.
Is it a sweep when it's 4?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But it should be
it's a 4-game sweep.
It should be called something different, something worse. Like a sweep for me is the 3 games. Like, we could just make up a word. We could, but, you know. Like, what sounds worse than a sweep?
Than a sweep?
A 4-game drubbing? Is that what you... No?
Taking to the woodshed?
Yeah.
It's a woodshed.
It's a woodshed
It's a
series.
woodshed moment. They avoided it, though, so that was good.
They did, well, because Oli got thrown out. They rallied around their manager.
Yeah, apparently. We'll get into that. Oli made some comments after he was kicked out. Daniel Descalso ejected as well. The Miles Michaelis did a nice job working. I mean, he got squeezed several times, gave up the 3 runs in the first. I don't blame Daniel Descalso or Oli for being ticked off. I mean, that was a bad strike. So, and then, of course, you got to review the 2. They were wrong on both. Like, it was a mess yesterday in Milwaukee. But credit the Cardinals for coming back and getting 1 game. The overall series, atrocious again. They won yesterday, so it's like we're in this spot where do we talk about them gaining a little momentum going to Anaheim, or do we talk about the series as a whole, Marsh, and discuss how bad it was overall?
So I'll actually give I'm going to give Alex Ferrario some credit. He said something earlier today on their show that I actually think is spot on. He said the Cardinals winning the last game of the series is like playing golf for 17 holes and being terrible, but you birdie the 18th and you're like, this is a great game.
Yep.
I can't wait to golf tomorrow.
Can't wait to come back tomorrow.
Meanwhile, you were terrible for the rest of it.
And had you talked to anyone in the previous 17 holes, you would have told them you're never playing again.
And you may have broken a club or 2 along the way.
Absolutely. You certainly lost a lot of golf balls.
Yeah. So I feel like that's where the Cardinals have got me right now. And, oh, man, there's so much to unpack. Like, was it a rallying moment with Oli and Descalso getting ejected? Or did they win in spite of that? Is Paul Goldschmidt, is the beast finally awoken? Or was it just a lucky swing? Like, this, to everything that's positive, there's the counter argument.
Right.
So I don't know what to think.
Let's just talk about Goldschmidt. I have not seen him or most future Hall of Famers look that bad on Saturday. Oh. Did you see the swings that he took on Saturday?
Honestly, Anthony, I'm not being rude to Paul Goldschmidt because he is a possible Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
Okay, probably a surefire Cardinals Hall of Famer. You name it. Great guy in the community. I have nothing negative to say about Paul Goldschmidt, the individual. His at-bats on Saturday looked like he was a left-handed batter trying to bat right-handed.
Yes.
They were that out of sync. The timing, the swing, the mechanics. When I saw it, I was like, he's joking, right? Like, is he being funny? Like, but he wasn't, obviously. And again, I'm not trying to disrespect Paul Goldschmidt because he's at a level in his sport that I could never have achieved in my sport. So it's not like that. But I'm just isolating his swings and his at-bats. They were just really not pretty.
He looked like a softball player who did not want to take a walk. So he swung at a pitch.
Oh, you like me at the home run derby when we do it?
Yes. So he swung at a pitch just to make sure he didn't walk so he got another pitch. Unfortunately for him, that was strike 3. Like, that's what it reminded me of.
To me, it reminded me of a player playing wiffle ball and not using an actual wiffle ball. They're using those junk balls.
Oh,
and like you're just like, where did that come from?
Right.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
I've seen a bunch of those videos where they're like, whoa.
Hey, but he came alive yesterday.
Yeah,
though.
he did.
He looked good yesterday. He had the home run, then he hit the single to tie it up, and then of course Siani winds up doubling home Donovan, and you got a 4-3 win. Ryan Helsley finally back on the hill. They hadn't used him because they weren't winning at all. So Ryan Helsley with a really nice job in the 9th. The starting pitching over the weekend was fine. You know, Miles Michaelis, I thought, bared down after the first inning. Wound up going 6. Kyle Gibson, I thought, looked really sharp. Jojo Romero did a nice job coming in for Kyle Gibson to get him out of the jam there. But Sonny Gray, not his best on Thursday.
Yeah, but
Lance Lynn.
Sonny Gray, I'm giving him a pass.
He's been outstanding.
He's been great. His schedule got slightly interrupted. I'll use that as a mild excuse for him. I'm sure Sonny Gray won't say anything about that. But he's been your best pitcher, like, by far.
Absolutely.
So if he had a bad day at the office, guess what? You move on.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have been out of that first inning.
Yeah, Arenado doesn't take the out there at third base, winds up whiffing and then throws it over as opposed to just committing maybe to third base. Yeah, it was. I mean, I thought the defense overall wasn't good. Had some base running mistakes. Gorman get picked off at second base. I mean, he was nowhere close. I don't know if he went to the concession stand at one point to get a hot dog and then decided, I better get back. But he was smoked at second base.
That reminds me of when Albert tried stealing third against Milwaukee a few years ago.
Yes.
That was funny.
He contemplated, like, the big slide, and then it was not. And he was so far away from the bag.
Got me.
Yeah,
Looked like my son Killian trying to get sneaking into the kitchen to get another donut. Like, oh, kid, you caught me.
But, okay, so let's isolate that just for a second, though.
Killian, he loves donuts.
He does.
Yeah.
He's a great kid. You should probably give him a couple more donuts from time to time. You're
eats a lot.
little bit of a stern parent, but, teach their own. That's your home, Anthony, your kingdom.
Thank you.
When I watch the Cardinals right now, so let me backtrack. The start of the season, I didn't feel like this team was as bad as what was on the field last year. The rotation was battling through. The defense was solid. You just weren't getting the offense. Now, I feel like we're right back where we started. Mm-hmm. Defensive errors by people who shouldn't be making them. Mm-hmm. Pick your player at this point.
Yeah, Carlson,
Arenado,
yeah.
like things, uncharacteristic things. Then Gorman now with the bad base running. And the defense is taking a little bit of a dip along with just baseball IQ overall. Like, it feels like it's regressing to where it was last year, which obviously that wasn't a great spot to be in.
Mm-hmm. I think that just I think that proves the point of you can have talented baseball players from a on paper standpoint, but if you're not doing the little things that you need to do to win baseball games, you won't win. It doesn't matter what your team looks like, what your roster looks like. If you don't do the bare minimum things and the stuff that you're supposed to do to win ball games, you won't, because you have guys I've never even heard of in the other dugout. I've never Jack Bowers from 24s on the other. I don't know who the hell that guy is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
respect the first place team, okay?
Seriously.
But they just, for 3 of the games, they whooped your butt.
Yep.
Why is that?
After sweeping you.
Yes.
That's the conversation, right? So that's what I want to get into next. What are the Brewers doing from a front office standpoint that you are not, right? Like, what are they doing that is generating a first place team after, again, you changed the roster. If you look over the last couple of years, Jamie, I know you were looking at this.
Oh, yeah?
A couple of years ago, the roster did not look like it does now for Milwaukee.
And they're not alone. It's not just the Brewers. Like, let's be honest, the Cubs, after they won their World Series and all that stuff and moved on from Joe Madden, they were supposed to stink for an extended period of time. They never really did. They had a bit of a down year. Then the next year, they're right back towards second place. And now look where they are. They're back and forth with Milwaukee for first place in the division. Mm-hmm. How did they retool so quickly? How does Milwaukee continue to retool every 3 to 4 years and stay at the top of the division?
Right.
What the hell's going on?
Well, let's dive into that next. If you have thoughts on this too, by all means, leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. What are the Brewers and Cubs, like Jamie just said, doing that you're not, besides winning games, scoring runs, all that? That's all next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. The Brewers just took 3 of 4 from you over the weekend. They're in first place. You're still in last place. And if we look back over the last couple of years, the Brewers, when it comes to their off seasons, a lot of times their moves are questioned, and yet here they are once again in first place in the NL Central, 24-16, plus 35 run differential. The Cardinals, if you put the two rosters on down on paper, a lot of baseball fans, casual or not, are going to take the Cardinals roster. And yet the Cardinals are 16-24, 8 games back now of the aforementioned Brewers, minus 51 run differential. So what are the Brewers doing that the Cardinals are not? And it really is a front office conversation. I don't think this is about the manager anymore. They got rid of their manager in Craig Counsell, so you can't play the Craig Counsell versus Oli Marmol. It is about the front office. Before we, Jamie and I get into our thoughts on this, here's John, who left us a mic drop.
You know, is it fair to say that the Cubs and Brewers are doing mostly everything better than the Cardinals? And frankly, it starts with starting pitching. The Cubs had great pitching last year. Brewers have good pitching again this year, and they've hit on some of these players that they've traded for or signed off the waiver wire. William Contreras trade certainly comes to mind for Milwaukee. Another point here, you all have brought up, earlier shows brought up, at what point do fans start getting apathetic? I have to say, I've reached a state of apathy that stopped briefly during the offseason. I went down to Jupiter for spring training, got pretty excited about the season. And I'm back to this stage where I don't even want to watch the Cardinals. I've ended my MLB TV subscription. I'm going to be outside St. Louis. I don't live there, but I don't even want to go to the ballpark and spend any money. It's at this point where it's just too frustrating to follow, given how much I care about this team and the expectations that I, like everyone else, has going into each season. It's just way too frustrating. I'm apathetic. I really just cannot care enough anymore about this team until things change drastically. And yes, the fact that the Brewers are still good even after getting rid of Burns and the Cubs are good after changing literally everything, it just adds fuel to the fire.
Well, John, you better show up to the ballpark or this team's not getting any better, I'll tell you that much.
That's right.
We heard that right from the top.
Had a long conversation on that on Friday.
Oh, I know. I missed it.
Jamie, at some point, loved your thoughts on that too. But yeah, that's not good. And John, I don't blame you.
No.
I don't blame you one bit. There's a lot of Cardinals fans I think share that sentiment. I've reached that point. We had that conversation, I think, on Friday, where I had opened the show, Jamie, asking people, are they still ticked off? Are they still apathetic? And I was still a little ticked off, I think, on Friday. But coming in today, or kind of doing my notes for today's show, I realized that's past. Like beating them up at this point, it's moot. It doesn't matter. They're not good. Wholesale changes have to be made. It's not great. Now, John brought up the Brewers pitching staff. Freddie Peralta, so they get rid of Corbin Burns. They
had the big three.
They had Burns, they had Woodruff, they had Peralta. They traded Corbin Burns, their ace, after insulting him and getting a whole bunch of flack for it. They dealt him to Baltimore. They're still in first place. They traded Josh Hader at the deadline a couple years ago, took a lot of flack for it. The rest of the year did not end up well because the Cardinals passed them, don't forget. So they took the heat for that. Yet last year, won the division, went to the playoffs again. This year, back in first place, they got Freddie Peralta and some also-rans. Joe Ross, Colin Ray, these aren't guys that the Cardinal, like us in the media or Cardinals fans, were clamoring for. But the Brewers know what they're doing from a scouting standpoint, from a developmental standpoint, and they also move on. They squeezed everything they could out of somebody like Rowdy Tellez. And then he moved on, and they picked up Rhys Hoskins. They got everything they possibly could out of, the outfielder who used to play for Boston. I forget his name now. I think he's with Anaheim. They pick up these guys and then move on in a year or two, and then replace them with other guys that they feel as though are undervalued in the market. Whereas the Cardinals attempt to do that, and then they fail. Who's the left-handed hitter, Marsh, that we were talking about? I forgot his name again. The left-handed hitter that they signed, DH. I forget his name again.
Who, the Brewers?
No, the Cardinals. From a couple years ago when Albert was still here.
Yeah, the outfielder.
Corey Dickerson.
Corey Dickerson.
Yeah.
Corey Dickerson's a perfect, like, the Cardinals trying to do it the Brewers way, and it not working out.
Well, it worked for like nine days.
Worked about 9 days.
They're a hell of 9 days, so.
Had a good series.
We'll always have those
at
9
Wrigley
days.
Field. Yeah, and that's it. You know what I mean, though?
I know
like
what you mean.
they try to go the value route at times, and they flat out miss.
Well, they miss because they don't know how to scout.
Right.
Let's just be honest.
It's apparent, yeah.
And like, let's look at the Brewers' rotation because, to your point, they had the big three before. Right now, they've got Freddie Peralta.
Alex, thank you. Sorry to cut you off, Jamie. Hunter Renfroe was who I was thinking of. Thank you. Alex from the Snake Pit.
All right, don't ever cut me off again.
Okay, brought to Boston, to Milwaukee, and thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, Gilbert's brother.
No.
No? Okay. Anyways, we look at the Cardinals' rotation, and for the most part, I think people are satisfied. But until the season started, people were like pissed. What the hell are we doing? You know, and stuff. But then when you put that rotation next to the Brewers rotation, you say, wow, I'm taking the Cardinals rotation. I mean, I'm not really happy with Lance Lynn and Gibby being signed, 2 old guys, and who knows what, but that's way better than what this
I'll
is.
take him over Joe Ross and Colin Wright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, where's the miss there from a talent evaluation or development? Who knows? I don't know which one it is. And then when you go through their lineup, like 4 years ago, this Milwaukee Brewers team, I think the only guy left, there are 2 guys left, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. If I am, then I stand corrected. But it's Yelich and Freddie Peralta.
And Adames. Yep,
No,
that's it.
Adames isn't 4 years ago.
Oh, 4 years ago.
I'm saying 4 years ago. Adames was, 2 years, maybe 3 years ago, where they acquired him midseason?
They acquired Willie Adames really early in the year. I think that was 2020. Either way.
For argument standpoint, let's say he's there. It doesn't matter.
Your overall point is
My overall point is this is a completely brand new team.
Yeah.
So the Cardinals needed to retool a few things. And here they are in last place. The Brewers had to retool an entire roster almost, and they're in first place. And it's not the first time they've done it in the last decade. So how does that happen? And again, I'm going to go back to the Cubs, and people probably like, well, the Cubs have a big budget. But the Cubs came out and told everybody, like, we won the World Series, and then they just went bare bones. Mm-hmm. And what year was that again when they won the World Series?
2016.
2016. So here we are 8 years later-ish, depending on where the season falls. And last year they were competitive. The year before they were supposed to be dog bleep, and they weren't. They were somewhere in the middle. They weren't great. Like, they weren't a playoff team.
Yeah.
But now they're battling for first place. Now the Cubs have a bigger budget. They've went and grabbed a few names. They've added some pitching. They've had, fine. But why are they able to do it? The Cubs don't, for me, there's not such a substantial difference between what the Cardinals' payroll can be and what the Cubs' payroll can be.
Sure.
I'm not saying what it is or who has more money. It's not a pissing contest here. But both organizations, if there's a name that they want, can go get them.
Absolutely. And isn't this more proof, too, that it's not about spending? It's about spending wisely. It's about investing wisely. It's not about spending. You can. There's a lot of teams. Dodgers can outspend you, no problem. They can build this superstar rotation, or superstar roster. The Phillies can do the same thing. There are examples of teams that just wildly spend, and it works out. There's plenty other examples. The New York Mets come to mind first, of teams that wildly spend and it doesn't work out. It's not about spending. It's about spending on the right players. The Brewers don't spend, but they spend wisely. They bring in guys that they know are going to fit their culture, and they got more than what their previous team thought they had in certain players. And then they've got some young guys who have really worked out. This latest is the Robert Gasser, who had himself an excellent debut the other day against the Cardinals.
So we get a text, Anthony, from the 573, and I understand it to a certain point, but I want to talk about it a little bit. It says, there's over 100 games left, I imagine what they're trying to say. Mm-hmm. Your take is such a joke and makes you a fake fan. You're not even a fan. Don't give up on your team you say you love. First of all, my take has nothing to do with emotion. Zero. I'm still a Cardinals fan. If they win tonight, I'll be happy. If they lose, I'll be upset. You know what they call that? Being a fan. Because it's not normal. If I was just a media personality, it'd be, I don't care. It's just my job. Right? Mm-hmm. But no, I care. So, therefore, I am a fan. But where they're wrong is the fact there's 100 games left, we're going 162 last year, plus however many we are this year, and it's the same story.
Well, I think
So it's not giving up on my team. It's the team, quite honestly, has not been able to produce up to the level that they're expected.
with all due respect, he or she, I think, doesn't. They don't. This isn't a Cardinals fan show. I know you're a fan. I get that. I think that's fantastic. The majority of our listeners are Cardinals fans. That's who we're going to appease to. But Jamie doesn't show up in a Fredbird uniform every day, mascot uniform every day.
Periodically.
Yes, periodically.
Mostly because it's fun and provocative.
We're not. This is not a Cardinals homer show where we're going to spin everything for you. We're not the flagship station. Even if we were, we're still going to kind of say it how it is from our perspective. Now, you may have a different perspective than we do, but we can't help you if you think that this is a Cardinals Redbird show, where it's like we're just going to tell you, hey, Goldie, don't worry about the previous 34 at-bats. My man got it figured out tomorrow. This is going to be – we're not cheerleaders, man. I don't know what to tell you.
No, and I think that most of the time –
And again, with all due respect, I'm not trying to
I'm not mad
slam.
at the texture either. I'm just saying that, like, I am a fan, but I also have to be realistic in what I'm watching. And it really kind of struck me over this weekend just how bad things have gotten. When I'm watching Goldie take at-bats like he's got a blindfold on, that's not good. That's not a shot at Paul Goldschmidt, just how bad it looked. And then to see how far the Cardinals have dropped compared to the Brewers and Cubs predominantly, but we haven't even brought up the Pirates and the Reds, who, they're not having, like, unbelievable seasons either, but they're ahead of your Cardinals.
Yeah.
What are they doing? Because they've got some absolute studs on their rosters.
They stung for a while. They got their young guys groomed in the minors, and now they're up. Like that to me is that one's easier to explain with the Pirates and Reds than it is.
Yeah, but
with
then
the
where's your
Brewers.
star? So it brings me right back to
Your young star.
Where's your stud?
He's in Memphis right now.
Yeah, and
The guy who's supposed to be your
he had
young
a great
star.
ground ball RBI today too. What? I mean, he hit the ball hard, Anthony. It was a good shot.
Oh, Jamie, you're being a fake fan. Stop
I'm
it.
not. I am being a little bit snarky on that one because it was a hit that probably wouldn't have gotten through at the major league level.
Yeah, you're right. Just some thoughts, Marsh, real quick from the snake pick because they'll scan here. Paper straws. Anthony, will you please hold Mo accountable? Frick James, really good point here. Without accountability, you get statements like we got from Bill DeWitt III. He's right. Team doesn't deserve Jamie. Don't sweat the texter. No, and that was from Daniel. We appreciate it. I want to be really clear here because I do think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to us doing the radio show. I root for the Cardinals. I want our listeners to be absolutely engaged for 162 plus. I want the Cardinals to do well. I'm not going to sit here day after day for 4 hours, though, and gloss over their issues.
No.
That's not fair to you as a listener who watches the game. You're ticked off all the time. I think that's fantastic that this person still has the optimistic glasses on. I think that's great. But, dude, you're in last place. Again. Go ahead, Marsh.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what from this team makes you think that this could turn around? Like, what positives have we seen over the course of the past 2 months that makes you think that they are going to turn things around? Now, I know there are teams in the past that have turned things around, and maybe we'll get into that later. But what elements did they have from their team that allowed them to do that? I look at those teams. I don't know if I see that from this team. So I don't have a ton of positive things to say about them because I know what I'm watching. And so do half of the city, or probably more than half. I'm sure there's a few people that still have the optimism like this texter, but there's not a lot of optimism with this team.
There's not. And a peek behind the curtain, it actually makes our job a lot easier when they win.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
You're excited. You want to tune in. We could talk. We just highlight all the great things. Yeah, we'd rather see it. Last one here from the Snake Pit. Yingling Mike says, "Why would you want to listen to a BS show?" I agree. You don't want anybody BSing you for 4 hours.
No.
All right. What's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
Anytime you're looking to sell your home, obviously it's a massive deal. Lots of money involved, super stressful. There are big decisions that have to be made. And sometimes you feel like you're alone trying to make those decisions. Don't do that. Call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. She is the expert in the business. She not only knows how to price your home, she has certain strategies in place to help sell your home for even more. And she's got a database with thousands of buyers that are ready and able to purchase your home. And what does that do? Well, it creates a lot more traffic to your listing. Maybe it means more offers, multiple offers, higher demand, all of that leading to more money in your pocket when Gloria Liu gets you to the closing table. Gloria also has guaranteed sales, and that's where Gloria sits down with the seller and they figure out a sales price for the home, and they sell that house for that price, or Gloria Liu will buy it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. So again, call Gloria Liu. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. That number's 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the sales price and possession date.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals lose 3 of 4 over the weekend. They do avoid the sweep against the Milwaukee Brewers, winning yesterday. They are back in action tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Angels. 8:38 first pitch as Matthew Liberatore takes the mound, going up against Jose Soriano. We'll continue talking about the Cardinals throughout the remainder of the show. Send us your mic drop. Send us text via the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We definitely want to hear what your opinion is regarding regarding your St. Louis Cardinals. The Battlehawks lost to the Birmingham Stallions over the weekend by a final of 30-26, but City SC picked up a 3-1 victory against the Chicago Fire. They'll be back in action on Wednesday, taking on LAFC with a start time of 7:30. We have What's Trending coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter and Jamie Rivers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, at the end of last night's Vancouver Canucks Edmonton Oilers game, Connor McDavid took a cross-check to the back, and as he was falling down, then took a cross-check to the throat, or like the chin area. Not a great feeling, I'm assuming, to be in that spot. But there's a decent amount of people that are upset because of Connor McDavid being a superstar and being treated the way he was. His teammates really didn't step in to do anything about it. Maybe they will in Game 4. But what are your thoughts from that? And when it comes to protecting superstars, does it really matter at a time like this when everything's on the line? It's the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, so it's a tough situation all around. It was really tough because the clock had hit zeros on the game, too. Mm-hmm. So the game was over, which means there's no more next shift, you're dead type thing. And go back to the Vancouver Canucks. They're playing smart hockey, man. Go after the best player in the world. 110%. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying you cross-check him in the face. And if anybody has not seen the video, go take a look at the video, because it's really an unfortunate sequence of events. Because Nikita Zadorov, who, by the way, he's looking pretty damn good this year in the playoffs, just saying, Army, if you're listening, take a look. Big left-hand shot defenseman, kind of a mutant out there. Anyways, he comes in and gives a little cross-check to the lower back of Connor McDavid, which changes the trajectory of where his head is to lower. And Carson Soucy's going to cross-check him in the shoulder, but then gets him in the face instead. Now, why was all that happening? Because at the end of the game, Connor McDavid slashed Soucy. And so he said, okay, I'm going to cross-check you back. But Zadorov saw the slash, gave him a little shot, and changed everything at that point. So that's why the cross-check in the face happened. Now, that being said, there has to be a response by the Oilers. What it is, I don't know, because you're down 2-1 in the series, and it's a tough situation because you have to win hockey games. And let's fast forward this a little bit to the next conversation. Is our good buddy Pat Maroon, the big rig, brought into Boston to make sure that he keeps the flies off of some of the stars. Yeah. So similar situation where Brad Marchand, their captain, was punched in the face and concussed, and he missed a game. And then, the Bruins are trying to win hockey games but get retribution. Here's what Pat Maroon said following the game when the reporters were kind of grilling him about things. And we'll hear from Pat just how difficult it is to kind of separate things right now. Here's Pat Maroon.
Unfortunately, what happened, we got to turn the page. We got to find a way. You can sit here and say I'm not doing my job. Maybe I'm not. But like I said before, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. And I don't want to put my team in jeopardy. I don't want to take a suspension. I don't want to put my team on a penalty kill. I'm doing everything I can. So we can sit here and say I'm not. Maybe I'm not. But I talked to my captain. I talked to the guys in that locker room. They know, and they know I care. And that's the most important thing.
And that's because the Boston media are poking and prodding at Pat Maroon, because the Boston media love a good story. And they'd rather see Pat Maroon go over and take someone's head off and get retribution for the Bruins. That's big bad Bruins hockey. But you lost 7-1 because he was in the box for 5 minutes and they scored 3 on the power play.
Right.
So you heard him. He's damned if he do, damned if he doesn't. So let's go back. Spin it back now. Connor McDavid. What do the Oilers do? The perfect medicine is to go out there and win the game. And this is what we always used to say in the locker room come playoff time. If someone does something stupid, you take a number, their number, and you wait. opportunity will present itself at some point. And if you really want opportunity to present itself quicker, get a 2 or 3 goal lead.
Right.
Late in the game, now watch. Now retribution happens.
Mm-hmm.
But until that point, you got to focus on what the task at hand is. And Pat Maroon's got 3 Stanley Cup rings that says he knows how to handle this stuff. And he was a part of one of the biggest missed calls in Stanley Cup history was the hand pass, where Craig Berube basically said, we're going to forget about that. Could have responded like a bunch of buffoons the next game. He didn't. You won the hockey game. So Pat Maroon knows right now they're down 3-1 in the series. Never mind about getting Sam Bennett back or fighting somebody. You need to win a damn hockey game.
Right. And I love how Pat Maroon said, I talked to my captain. Mm-hmm. I talked to my teammates. That's all that matters. Mm-hmm. Because you are a team. If he goes reckless, he goes rogue. He decides to pummel Sam Bennett for not only the Brad Marchand hit, but also he pushed what's his name in the back there. Probably shouldn't have been a goal in last night's game. So that was another situation. I know. I'm not going to die on the hill, but I'm just saying let's throw that log on there too. If we're all in on,
and it makes it 10 times worse. The same guy.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We're all in on Sam Bennett. Maroon pounding Sam Bennett. But like you said, Jamie, on the ice.
Yeah, naturally.
Like you said, Jamie, if he does that, he spends most of the time in the penalty box, and you get eliminated.
Well, and if you're as a team, everybody's now focused on getting somebody back. You're not focused on scoring goals.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. This is how I made a living. Half of my career, if not more, was going out and hitting the best player on the ice, borderline, and then having the rest of the team chase me around the entire game, because when they did that, they weren't trying to score. Mm-hmm. Then they do stupid things. They take penalties. We get ahead. Then I'm laughing. They're still trying to murder me, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
So you've got to stay composed.
Yeah.
And Pat Maroon knows what he's doing. He's the ultimate agitator who can back it up with the muscle because he's got that. But right now, that team, instead of wanting Pat Maroon to go fight their battles, they need to follow what he's leading right now and realize that the mountain is steep to come back in this series. Think about scoring goals first.
I think an interesting point to the Oilers conversation is that, one, the Canucks went 2 for 3 on the power play in last night's game. So you know that their power play can score goals, and they will continue scoring goals. Another thing is I just wonder how the Oilers will go about this, because they have a guy like Evander Kane on their team who is known to be a little chippy, and I wonder if he could get involved, perhaps hurting his team. We did see it last night, though, that Zadorov, your guy, flipped him into the boards. And
over the boards.
He did not respond. He actually laughed at it. They did end up getting a penalty. I think they got a bench minor, which that was a little up in the air. I think they may have grabbed his Zadorov stick. That's probably why I went to 4-on-4.
Well, and Evander Kane looked like he tried to kick him in the head, too.
Yes. So
can't do that.
Shouldn't do that with skates on, Anthony.
I wonder if that will change, because I did see discipline, quote unquote, from that type of player. I wonder if that will change because your superstar just got cross-checked in the neck.
It can't, though.
No, it can't.
Like Evander Kane, if I'm the coach and I see him the first shift, he's like sideways, I'm telling him, you can't do it or you're benched. Mm-hmm. We got too much to do here. If you want to really get even, it's easy. Every time you get to the center ice or the blue line, you soft chip the puck into Quentin Hughes' corner. Mm-hmm. And you absolutely run them through the boards every single time you can. Pettersson, same thing. JT Miller, same thing. Brock Besser, those guys pay the tax for what happened to McDavid. Otherwise, you're not accomplishing anything.
Mm-hmm. Was yesterday a potential last-ditch effort by Oli Marmol to get his team going? Jump into that next on 101 ESPN. the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kind of a chaotic scene yesterday at American Family Field in Milwaukee, where not only did Daniel Descalso, the bench coach, get ejected from the game, but also Oli Marmol. They had every right to be ticked off.
Which one was first?
I think it was Descalso first, then followed by Oli.
That's what I thought,
if I remember correctly. Because Descalso was ticked off. I mean, you could tell Descalso was ticked off about the whole review situation. I mean, 2 times, and then you could see Descalso bark, and he's like, dude, you guys are mucking this up consistently. Oli was ticked off because Miles Michaelis got squeezed in the first inning. Wound up giving up 3 runs. A couple of really borderline. They should have been strikes up the zone. Maybe that inning is completely different for Michaelis. So that's why Oli was ticked off, and then they both got ejected. But after the game, this is Oli Marmol suggesting what I think a lot of people, or stating what a lot of people thought he was doing by maybe giving his team a little bit of a spark.
Alan Porter and Sean Barber are good umpires. That had more to do with getting something going. Those guys do a nice job. Their job is tough. But at times you just got a little skid, get something going. But no, I've got nothing against that group. I'm glad the boys pulled it together and won. Yeah.
So this is kind of funny, right? Because he may not think that, but I kind of liked his approach here because he gave the league nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, these guys got to do, they have a tough job to do. They're doing a good job. And then just keep the feet moving. But do you guys believe, I mean, Jamie is a former athlete. You'll have some insight to this. Now, you played hockey, but we've all seen, like, the line fights and things like that to try to get your team going. Does that stuff work?
So it's weird because I've been trying to draw the parallels between hockey and baseball when it comes to a situation like this. And it's very difficult for a couple of reasons. One, hockey's a physical sport.
Yeah.
Not that baseball doesn't have physicality, but it's not a contact sport. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
And so,
certainly not if you're the Cardinals offense.
Soft contact. Uncalled for a little bit. I apologize.
Yep. Sorry.
However,
Fake fan.
If you're playing hockey and the coach or somebody gets rattled, you can go out there and you have 5-10 hits in a shift, like as a group, and change the momentum of the game. Block a shot, get into a scrum. Like, there's lots of things that you can do to flip the energy. But in baseball, like, your manager goes out there, does all that. Like, does it make you a better hitter?
Right.
Does it make you a better pitcher? Like, you're supposed to be relaxed when you're hitting, for one thing. So if I'm amped up now, I'm like, revenge for Oli. Like,
right.
what? No? Like,
He's right. I'm now fired up. I don't see it.
There can be a moment, and this is why, having a baseball player, like when we talked to BT on Wednesday, maybe we'll ask him about it. But maybe it does kind of create that us against the other team and us against the umpires too. And maybe you do dial it in just a little bit more, and maybe there is a smidge more effort at that point. Mm-hmm. So maybe it does change a few things, but I don't know. It's difficult for me to see how 2 managers, or bench coach and a manager, getting tossed out of a game motivates your team enough to come back and beat the Brewers.
Right.
I don't know.
I think it just shows that there's some emotion in that dugout. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen any emotion from anybody. Like, where's the emotion? Your team is not playing good.
Yeah.
From what we've heard, it seems like they're all pretty content with where they're at right now because they think things are going to change here soon. But I want to see that. I want to see some emotion. And I don't know what Oli's future looks like. And I know a lot of people aren't too fond of the Cardinals manager right now. But I think that was a moment where, yes, you could not like the manager, but like what he did in that moment to spark the team. Now, there's a lot of people thinking, well, Oli wasn't in the dugout and the team came back and won. And we mentioned that at the beginning of the show. And there's a lot of people out there with that thought. Right. The way that I look at it is this team has just been down in the dumps. They're very, they're a sad face. Mm-hmm. We had they're the emoji, they're a sad face. And they've been a sad face for quite some time. I just need to see emotion. And it starts, we always talk about, a lot of people think there's no leadership in that clubhouse, and it starts at the top with Oli. Well, I saw that last night or yesterday, and I liked it. They ended up getting the win, and we'll see how things go from here, but maybe this could be that turning point in the season. Will it? I don't know, but I think this is a starting point.
Yeah, you could see. Here's what I will say about what I watched or witnessed yesterday was Cardinals obviously not playing great. Then you've got your bench coach and your manager that look to me, Oli can say what he wants about, I was just trying to fire up the team. Or it looked to me like they both hit their boiling point.
Yeah. For sure.
It looked like when Oli was screaming the way he was screaming and saying the things that he was saying, knowing full well, like the call was already made, was overturned, whatever. When you got a guy doing that, that's kind of like all the frustrations are coming to a boil at the same time.
Yep.
Then the team comes back, wins the game. Then Miles Michaelis, who not even knowing how the game was going to end, had already purchased like red mock neck T-shirts and big thick gold chains for like funny dress up to go to L.A. after. Stupid things like that that are all in like that chronological order can change the vibe around the team. I'm not saying it's going to change the result. I'm not expecting the Cardinals to go on a 10-game heater or anything like that. But sometimes when it changes the vibe, then incrementally the performance starts to get better.
Right.
So time will tell if yesterday's events have any impact over the next string of games.
The image, the perception of it wouldn't look good, but I think this team, from my perspective, not being in the clubhouse every day and being on the team and all that, but it is so, they are so tight. They've been tight for two years now, just squeezing the bats until it's sawdust tight. You're right. They do need almost like a blanket. Let's just forget about it. Let's go. Almost like this mock sense. Goldschmidt hits a home run. Hey, it's about time, dude. Like just lighten up a little bit. And maybe that's a direction. So yeah, maybe there was that boiling point moment like you're talking about, Jamie, where the manager and the bench coach are so frustrated. And they can't turn around and say, you guys are going to cost all of us our jobs, you bleep holes. Like, no, I'm going to yell at the umpire and say, get ejected. Yep. Cool. Anger went that way. Yeah. Team lightens up a little bit, and they wound up winning a game. It won't matter if it won't carry over, but I see what you're saying, Jamie.
And, of course, we're getting a little bit of pushback on that narrative from 618. If the manager has to announce he was trying to fire up the team, that's the problem. People get thrown out of the game all the time and don't come out and announce, I did that to try and get the guys fired up. He should be doing that in the dugout or in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I almost had a similar take. Because when Marsh kind of said, hey, let's listen to the audio, and, I was thinking about what Oli had said. My original take was this. I would rather have him, instead of the show some emotion, how about you develop some of these guys? How about you figure out what the hell's going on with some of these swings? Like, let's go. Why don't you manage the team instead of managing your emotions? Like, I almost went that route, but honestly, this team needs to take a giant step back. Again, lighten up a little bit, have a little bit of fun, even when you're losing, because if you're going to pile up the losses anyways, I don't think going we just got to figure this out and everybody's tight. I don't think it's going to work. We saw it last year. It didn't work.
And I think that Oli saying it like that's almost a bit of a cover-up, too. Because Oli didn't want to admit in the moment that I'd hit my boiling point.
Right.
So it's easier to throw a mask on it and say, I was just trying to get the guys fired up. These are great umpires.
Right.
So it saves face a little bit with the umpire. So the next time he has them, maybe he gets the tighter calls go his way because they're like, he just kind of blew up a little bit, And then the flip side of it again is I just think that we, as a society, we all have a boiling point. No matter what our job is, we have those moments, whether they're public, like Oli's was, or they're behind closed doors, or whatever, with your loved ones or something. We have those moments where we blow up and can't control it.
Yeah.
And then you'd like to go back and change the narrative on it sometimes. I think that's what Oli did.
And I think to this texter's point, maybe the visual that comes to mind is in the movie Miracle when Rob McClanahan is, he's got ice on his knee and Herb comes in and he's yelling at him and then walks out and he's like, that'll get him going. Yeah. I wonder if that is what this texter's wanting, a little, getting the team fired up within the clubhouse and not having to, throw something at the umpires.
We'll certainly see. We'll see as they head to Anaheim tonight or LA tonight, take on the Angels. It's a team with the Angels that are extremely banged up. No Mike Trout, missing some other guys too. They're not a very good team from top to bottom. They get going tonight in L.A. 8:38. Matthew Liberatore versus Jose Soriano. Hopefully we have a chance to play the lineup game probably in the 5 o'clock hour.
It'll be later.
It will be later, that's for sure. What do the Blues need to do to acquire more grit? Jamie has kind of a grit ranking of the current NHL playoff teams. We already put the Blues on that ranking list if they were in it. And, okay, so they're not on that list. That's the problem. How do they acquire more grit? That's next on 101 ESPN. .303, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. No Carey Davis today. He's off for the next couple of days. I think he'll be back on Wednesday. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh. It's the fast lane. The hockey playoffs continue. A couple of good games again last night. And tonight you've got the Rangers looking to close out the Hurricanes. And the Avalanche and Stars play Game 4 at 8:30. Jamie, you've been noticing... And I don't think this is the first time you've pointed this out. I think you can go back years prior to this, too, and look at one common trait as the NHL playoffs roll on. There is one common trait among teams that are still playing, and that's grit. They got grit. They got toughness. They got edge. You call it jam.
Yeah.
They got jam. So I know you did a kind of a ranking of the current teams and how much grit they have. So why don't you start from the bottom, because that's always more fun.
Yeah, so what's interesting is, is for my list of grit, it's just guys that make it difficult to play against them. Some guys can fight, some guys can't. Some guys will run you through the boards, others won't. So my list is based upon guys that I think, watching the playoffs and as much hockey as I've watched, make life difficult for the opposition physically. And the Dallas Stars, surprisingly, are at the bottom of the list. And they've got Jamie Benn and Marchment. The rest of them are, but they've got some big bodies. Like Robertson's a big body. Rope Hintz is a big body. So they're not really like tough, gritty guys to play against. But when they possess the puck like they do, it's a lot like the 2019 Blues, to where they wear down the opposition by controlling the puck and being big and cycling the puck and doing things like that. So that, to me, that one hasn't bitten them in the butt yet, not having that like top-tier grit. It would be interesting to see how that ends up overall, though, as it progresses. And we go from there, you go right to the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes are a fast team, such a nightmare to play against in the regular season. They're aggressive with the puck, all that stuff, but they don't have a whole lot of grit. They've got Svechnikov, Burns, Orlov, and D'Angelo. None of those guys scare me at all. That's not great. And look where they are in their series right now.
Could be eliminated tonight.
Could be eliminated tonight. Then Colorado, who surprisingly has come into some troubles with Dallas. You know, they've got Rantanen. He's a big body. He's not somebody you're afraid to play against, you know, but he's a big body, physical in front of the net. Manson, Miles Wood, Trennan, and Duhaime. Those other guys are tough. They're gritty. But so far they haven't been able to do enough against Dallas when it comes time to apply the gritty stuff. So seeing where I'm headed with this, you look at the teams like the Vancouver Canucks, they've got 6 guys. And you talk about the Connor McDavid incident. Look at the JT Miller, Dakota Joshua, Nikita Zadorov, Carson Soucy. Connor Garland's like 5'8", but he's a little you-know-what to play against out there. And then Tyler Myers. That lineup is different. Like Dakota Joshua was added on. We had him here in St. Louis. He's really butted into a nice player. I don't think anybody saw that coming from him. But adding Zadorov to that mix really changed things for them. He's been an absolute beast. Nobody wants to play against him out there. And that's made a big difference. When you look at Boston, Boston has lots of grit too. We'll leave Marchand in there. I know he's 5'8", but he's tough to play against. If you're not paying attention, you get hurt.
Yeah.
You got Frederick, Maroon, Geeky, Coyle, McAvoy, Carlo, Brazo. So the Bruins know the recipe of how to get to where they need to be. The problem is the Bruins are playing against a Florida team that I think has even deeper with grit. Yeah. And what's neat with Florida, or unique, is that some of their best players are their most grit. Like Matthew Tkachuk. And it's not that anybody's afraid of him, but you better know where he's at on the ice at all times.
Yeah.
And if he wants to or he has to, he'll fight you. You got Sam Bennett in this group, too. Sam Bennett may be one of the most underrated fighters in the NHL, but he's also physical. We've seen what's happened with that series. He scores goals. He's hitting guys. Brandon Montour's tough. Good old Nico Mikalo, Lomberg, Kulikov. These are all guys that, in one shift, can change the momentum of the game. So I think when you look at the Blues roster, as we circle it back here to local stuff, like, who are you afraid of on the blue line right now when you play against the Blues?
Nobody.
I mean, you could reach and say maybe Tyler Tucker.
Yeah.
But how much impact is Tyler Tucker having on a playoff game right now?
Not much.
Not much right now.
Yeah.
So Colton Parayko, an elite defenseman, we're seeing him even thriving at the World Championships. He's a hell of a player. But he's not that grit. So when you look at that blue line and you look at some of the other blue lines that are right now currently in the playoffs, you're like, okay, maybe there needs to be a little bit of a change, a tweak of some kind. What it is, that's up to Army. But then you look at even your forward lines. Like, where's your grit? You got Braden Shen and Jake Neighbors.
Yep.
You've got a good start there. And then you could always throw in Sonny and Walker and things like that. But I don't know if anybody's afraid to play against them. Mm-hmm. It may not have the same impact as some of these teams that are, with guys that are playing bigger minutes, bigger roles. Like if you go to Edmonton even, you got Evander Kane, you've got Corey Perry, you've got Sam Carrick. Like these are guys that are playing pretty big minutes that are very gritty. And so I think that's the one element that has left this Blues team from 2019 is you had Edmondson, Maroon, Bortuzzo, Sonny was a prominent role. You had Braden Shen. Like you had some guys that weren't afraid to get involved. Vince Dunn wasn't a big guy, but you better keep your head up when you're out there against him. So Alex Pietrangelo was another one. Yeah. Not a goon or anything like that, but he's a big dude. So I think the Blues in in moving the ball forward here into next year, the big free agent signings that could have the biggest impact for the Blues aren't necessarily the most expensive.
Yeah.
You may be able to go find a $2 or $3 million player, or two of them, that change the outlook of this roster tremendously to make them a little bit more competitive.
Is there any player on this current roster that can transition their game into being a more physical presence? Because you listed off some guys. One name that comes to mind is Ivan Barbashev. The player that he was before he was in the NHL wasn't necessarily that gritty player. I mean, he was putting up points in junior hockey, but when he came in, he found his role, and I mean, he was annihilating people in the 2019 Cup run, in 2022.
Well, still, even last year in their Cup run in Vegas.
Is there anyone on this team that can sort of transition their game into being that, so you don't have to go out and spend money on other players?
So what's funny is, even before last season started, I had said on this very show that the guy who could ultimately replace Ivan Barbashev was Jake Neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
And little did I know he'd get right to that 27-goal mark right away. And I still think that Jake Neighbors can add even more physicality to his game. So, Marshy, maybe he's that guy. Mm-hmm. Along with more confidence and experience. And, hitting guys, I'll tell you what, there really is a talent to it. Like, you have to know when to make impact, how hard to make impact. You have to know where the other player's going. It's not as easy as just running into somebody.
Right, because then you get out of position. They can make a quick breakout pass, but you want to finish your check, and then the next thing you know, the puck's going down the other side of the ice, and then it could be in the back of your net.
But even mechanically.
Yeah.
Mechanically, so many guys don't know how to hit. They just skate hard and just run their body weight into somebody else. Mm-hmm. Where hitting is an art. It's bending your knees, loading up, and then exploding into the opposition, and not trying to just hit them. Mm-hmm. You're trying to hit them 6 inches past the boards. Mm-hmm. That's how you hurt people. That's how you send a message. And that's how Ivan Barbashev hits. That's how Sammy Blais hits. So guys like Jacob Trouba, that's the way he hits. He hits with a purpose. The purpose is to end your night.
Yeah, he does add a little elbow, a little flying.
From time to time, Marshy, things get blurry, okay?
Little chicken wing.
But again, but then who does that right now for the Blues?
Nobody.
So Sammy Blais did it, ran around, but then Sammy Blais did not have a great season, barely played, only got into 53 games ultimately.
Probably because he didn't do that consistently.
And he wasn't producing either. Mm-hmm. You can't just be a guy that's running around everywhere either. You have to produce. And especially in the playoffs, if you're going to occupy a roster spot, you got to be a difference maker. Mm-hmm. And so I look around the league, and the one name right now that pops in my head is Chandler Stevenson.
He'd
the Vegas
great.
Golden Knights, I think his time is done in Vegas. They have so many cap headaches that are about to hit them. He's a second-line center. He played first-line center for a bit in Vegas, but he's a true second-line center who, by the way, who's your second-line center right now? Pavel Buchnevich. Yeah, let's get him back on the wing.
Yeah.
And you get a guy like Stevenson. Stevenson's fast. He hits. He makes life tough for the opposition. So that, to me, would be a good start.
Plus, if Dalibor Dvorsky is going to be on this team, you don't have to rely on him to be a second-line center either.
Right.
That's right.
Which would be helpful for his development.
And that's a big jump right now. Mm-hmm. It's a big jump. So we'll see how that goes. It also takes the pressure off Dvorsky, too, of he's got to be the savior coming in here. So anyways, my little experiment of just going through some of these teams and their level of grit and their level of, or number of players that are willing to engage physically shift after shift, I think the Blues need to look at adding a couple of those guys, but they have to be guys that can skate. Can't just be a physical guy out there that's dragging a Buick. That does you no good. They have to be able to put the puck ahead, put the puck behind defensemen, get in on the forecheck using their speed. That's when they become difference makers.
That's Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Our Sports Six-Pack is next, so if you have a question for us, leave it at our Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. Sports Six-Pack next. Now is the absolute best time to head to Auto Centers Nissan out in Herculaneum because they got their May Day deals going on. You can take advantage of available incentives on new Nissan vehicles. We're talking about no down payment needed and 3 months of no payments. You can give your wallet a break, save that tax money that you just recently got. They also have up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Nissan models and 0% APR and payment terms all the way up to 84 months. As always, all new Nissans at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum come with their complimentary lifetime warranty, their complimentary 1-year maintenance, as well as their 30-day return promise. They're so confident that you're going to love the experience at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, just like I did and my wife did when we went down to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They give you that 30-day return promise within 30 days. If you need to bring the vehicle back or want to bring the vehicle back, they'll refund your money. Chances are, though, you're going to love it. You're going to love their selection. Over 700 vehicles all in one location. Rest assured that you're going to find the perfect vehicle for your style and your budget. Financing options for everyone that walks through the door. Good credit, bad credit, doesn't matter. They will finance the vehicle for you. Start at AutoCentersNissan.com and then check them out in Herculaneum. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
With Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. It's Andrew Marsh for the Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 1.
From the 618, I'm sick of talking about the Cardinals. So in an ideal world, would you rather have a legit elite first line for this new Blues retool or have 2 to 3 true line second line players followed with an experienced fourth line of heavy hitters?
Option B. I don't think you need another elite player for your first line. It would be nice, but you've got Robert Thomas, who's probably going to get close to that 100-point mark next year. And you got Pavel Buchnevich, who should be on that wing. And then Jordan Kyrou, look, we'll see where he fits in. At the end of the day, you still can't shake your head at a guy who's a 70-plus point player. People just want to discard Jordan Kyrou because they don't like his defensive play. He still ended up with 67 points last year, and it was kind of a so-so season. Before that, he had 2 seasons in a row over 70 points. So it's pretty tough to say, oh, that guy stinks. Mm-hmm. You know, like, let's find a home for him. Let's continue to watch the coaching staff work with him and develop him. But I would just, kind of like the last segment we just had, I'd much rather add 2 second-line guys to this team, and maybe one of them can play up, move up in the lineup, or maybe one moves down, because if you get a couple of second-line players, guys like Braden Shen and those other guys that are second liners right now, does Braden Shen go to the wing, or is he possible to play center? Then you got some more depth on the wings to help him out. Like, I think that's the quickest way to get this retool done, is by acquiring more able bodies than just focusing on one. Because think about it. If you add just a big $8-9 million player for the top line, you still have second, third line problems.
Yeah.
You do.
What if that one player was Matthew Tkachuk?
Well, that's obvious, but Anthony, that checks how many boxes? That's the problem.
That's why
he said an elite player, in which I just went skill-based only.
Sure.
If I'm not, then Matthew Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk, these guys are unicorns. Yeah, you do whatever it takes to add them to your lineup.
I'm just throwing a wrinkle in. Okay.
Yeah, that's all. The answer is yes. If there's ever, hang on, if there's ever a moment where the player in question is Tkachuk, the answer is yes. Well, how do we make it work? I don't care. The answer is yes.
All right, fair enough. Make it sure.
And you're a jerk for doing that, too. You know it.
I was thinking it the entire time. I'm like, I'm going to wait till he gets done talking. Then I'm going to throw a Tkachuk in there.
It's like throwing Tom Brady. The answer is yes.
Yes. It's always Tom.
Question number 2.
From the 314, I saw a graphic on Twitter that had MLB, NBA, and NFL teams ranked based on winning percentage in the last 10 years with the team equivalents. The Cardinals are ranked 5th, also with the Toronto Raptors and the Seattle Seahawks. What are your thoughts on this ranking?
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was reading a tweet from one of our earlier conversations. So I do apologize.
Keep scrolling. You'll get exactly what he's talking about.
I'm sure. Go ahead.
So I'll just summarize this. There's a graphic on Twitter.
Okay. From the Dove climbing, that one you're talking about?
Maybe.
Okay.
Go ahead. But it has Major League Baseball, NBA teams, and NFL teams and their equivalents in the last 10 years. The Cardinals are ranked 5th with the Toronto Raptors and the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay. Got it.
What do you make of this ranking and the teams that are associated with the Cardinals?
I mean, the Seahawks in the last 10 years.
It doesn't really pump my nads, Anthony, as they say in the business.
I'm almost thinking, though.
Who's saying that in the business?
What business? You know, that one.
I mean, the Raptors and the Seahawks have had some really good seasons. I would almost think that they're lower, but maybe I just can't. The Cardinals are lower.
Oh no, Cardinals! They have a continuous string of success, Anthony. Don't you know that?
I mean, the Seahawks have had some really good runs in the last 10 years.
When I think of the Seahawks and the Raptors, I don't look at them as like overly successful franchises in the last decade. Mm-hmm. Like, they've had some okay seasons. But then when you think about it, when you truly dive into it, the Raptors and the Seahawks are literally like the Cardinals in the last 10 years.
Yeah,
right.
Like run into an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series.
The Raptors have won. The Raptors won.
Get in and you never know, teams.
Yeah.
The Seahawks won.
The Seahawks won.
We're going back to 2014. Mm-hmm. Or no, they lost that Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they won the 13-1 and then lost the Patriots one.
The Malcolm Butler Bowl.
So I can't get past I can't get past. I know this is based on winning percentages. I can't get past like the thought though. Like I wouldn't compare the Cardinals to the Raptors and Seahawks. I would almost love to see somebody build this based on their like the way that the teams are built, or maybe like the history of the team. Because I've always compared the Cardinals to the Packers. You know, like steady success. They have won, but the fan base is always clamoring for more. Really good history, well respected. They have losing seasons. It is a huge deal locally and nationally. Like, I think of it that way. I wouldn't ever compare the Cardinals to the Raptors or Seahawks.
So
The Raptors for me is a harder one.
Yeah.
I'm shocked the Guardians are fourth.
So yeah, I found the graphic of Brooks Gate on X, Twitter, whatever. Number 1 is the Dodgers with the Golden State Warriors, Kansas City Chiefs. I think everyone would probably agree with that.
Yep. Houston
Astros, Boston Celtics, New England Patriots are number 2. Number 3 is the Yankees, Clippers, Steelers. And then, like you said, number 4, Guardians, Bucks, Green Bay Packers.
Like, the Guardians haven't won anything.
Right.
So that I'm struggling with that. Like, the Bucks have won. The Packers.
But I don't think it's based on how many championships you have. But maybe that's another discussion of like how these teams who are there every year, but they just never really get it done.
Yeah,
maybe that's the ultimate equivalency right there. That's what we're talking about.
That's kind of that's where my mind is going. But then I wouldn't put I can't put the Cardinals with the Raptors and the Seahawks. Seahawks won, and so do the Raptors. Or within the last 10 years, the Seahawks just fell out of that. But the Raptors have won over the last 10 years.
Right.
With Kawhi. It's interesting nonetheless. How about my Falcons with the old Pirates and Lakers?
Don't know if that's good.
That's a rough one, huh?
It's rougher if you're the Lakers and you look over to the Falcons and the Pirates.
What the hell are we doing here?
What has happened to this franchise?
I love how the Jets and the Jags are not even ranked.
A league of their own. It says, "We're your Vikings, Marsh."
The Vikings are
Jays
number 11.
And Cavs.
That makes total sense.
That does make sense. Yeah. It's a fun list nonetheless.
Question number 3.
You're right, though. If you're the Lakers, you're like, what the hell?
What has happened?
So the Lakers have won a championship, too. Granted, it was a COVID championship, but...
Which kind of doesn't count.
Yeah, but still, they won a championship, and they're still ranked with the Pirates and the Falcons.
No kidding.
All right, this is a running question. I don't know if you guys like to run by any means.
Unless I'm being chased.
From the 636, should 5K running groups be separated by weight class instead of age?
No idea. I have no idea. I've never run in a marathon. I will never. I am not. I do not like to run unless it's
unless you're being chased.
Unless I'm being chased. Yeah.
I used to run a lot, but now I don't run as much for obvious reasons. My knees, it sucks. But when it comes to these 5Ks, I have seen some heavier people. I don't know how to word it without sounding like a jerk, but that run these things and that do pretty darn good. Like Bert Kreischer. Do you know the comedian Bert Kreischer? He runs marathons.
Does he?
And his body is not one of a marathon runner. Let's just put it that way. And so I don't know what weight class would have to do with it. Like, if you're not happy with your ranking or where you're being placed, then maybe lose weight or gain weight. I don't know which one would be better, but
I've never ran a 5K in my life, so I couldn't tell you.
I can see the age thing being being a factor. Like if you got a 55-year-old and a 25-year-old, I don't think they should be in the same heat. You know, if you're doing it for the 5K.
All I keep thinking about is what's his face from oh god, what's the one HBO, the former baseball player, and he's talking to the principal that he's about to be a high school coach, and the principal's like, hey, I'm kind of an athlete too. I run marathons. What do you think of that? And he looks at him. He's like, yeah, no, it's not the same thing. I'm not trying to be the best at running.
Are you talking about
what's his name? No, what's his name?
I'm drawing a blank right now.
On HBO?
I think he was on HBO a long time ago. The former baseball player. Everybody loved him. The show.
Eastbound and Down. That's it. Yes. The Flama Blanca.
Yes. Not trying to be the best at running. I play real sports. That's what he says.
That's what he says.
Kenny Powers.
Kenny Powers. Yeah. Man, completely blanked on that. Yeah, Kenny Powers. That's all I can think about when you're talking about that. Let's do
question number 4.
All right, from 661. What is the Fast Lane's opinion on sequels and remakes for movies? It seems like every movie coming out is a sequel. Are there really no new ideas out there?
I got one rule on a cover or a sequel. It's got to be at least on par with the original. Like, you respect the original, okay? But you got to do something somewhat different that I like. That's my only take on covers and/or
Cover songs.
Yeah, cover songs, or
Just in case somebody thinks you're talking about your bad covers.
no. Yeah, no.
Or
I'm
other covers.
Right, or covers.com. No, I'm talking about covers of songs.
Yeah.
A little different, like taking a slower song and making it into a rock song or something like that. If you just do the same thing again, you should lose money. Is my thought.
Yeah.
Like shot for shot remake. Why?
Yeah, like a reboot.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think I'm fond of those things. Like when people remake movies like exactly the same but with a completely different cast.
Right. Why?
I'm like, I'll just watch the original, because if the original was that good that you're remaking it again, I'll just go watch the original.
Sure. I'll give you a perfect example of a movie redone. So the original, Jumanji, really good. The sequel, the remakes of them with The Rock, I think creative idea, different spin on it, not the same movie, but same kind of framework to it. I think that those were really good.
Anthony,
those were really, really
what
good.
are your thoughts on the 72 Fast and Furious movies?
I can't remember which one I left at.
Like, I get it. People like the cars.
Yeah.
And for a while, the cast was kind of like they were all the cool kids on the block. But I can only watch cars race so many times and spun in so many different ways before you lost me. They lost me at like the third one. And I know they're on like 9 or 10 or something now.
11.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be the final one.
Thank God.
Wow. Yeah, I can't tell you
And again,
which one I left
I
off.
love cars, the racing, the excite, all that. Great. Yeah. But Uncle, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, you got me. You had me at like 2, maybe 3.
Sure.
Oh, you didn't like when Vin Diesel and Paul Walker were driving through skyscrapers?
I didn't see that one. Didn't catch that one.
Or when Vin Diesel slingshotted himself across the canyon?
Yeah, that was realistic. Yeah, he had the extra nitrous oxide for that one.
Yeah, he did.
Like, come on. But my overall take on it is like, if you're going to look at sequels, look at the greatest ones. Like, you get the Rocky movies, and each one was different. It's the same, but different.
Right.
And, for the most part, all the Rockies were good. Some would argue, like Rocky 5 was like, meh, with Tommy Gunn, like, meh. But it still had a different vibe to it. I don't feel robbed when I watch it. But that's kind of like, for me, the way you look at it. Like, how do you build a sequel off of something that's obviously a classic?
Sure.
Major League 2.
Major League 2.
See,
That's you Mighty Ducks.
I don't know if that's the right example.
Hey, it still has a lot of funny lines in it. All right. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Mo sat down with KMOX, Cardinals flagship station, and talked about the current situation facing the Cardinals. He was asked about Oli Marmol. Here's a little tease of what he said.
I think we have to just keep trying to go back and try to get this to work. And, look, we understand if it doesn't, then, people are going to be held accountable. And, ultimately that starts with me.
There's a tease of that. We'll play the entire clip for you and then dive into whether or not we're getting closer to potential changes for the Cardinals next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club just had their Mother's Day brunch, and the food is always fantastic at the MAC, whether you're going to the West Clubhouse or the downtown spot. But they do a great job with things like the Mother's Day brunch, or when it's Easter, they have the Easter egg hunt and stuff like that for the kids. They do a great job of making sure that you've got something, whether for you as an individual, and for me, I love going down to get my workout in and prepping with using their business center, or maybe meeting somebody for lunch. But when it comes to the family activities, they always have something new and fresh and exciting each and every month. That's my MAC, the Missouri Athletic Club.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards lose 3 of 4 over the weekend to the Milwaukee Brewers. However, they do avoid the sweep yesterday. The Cardinals will be back in action tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Angels as Matthew Liberatore takes the mound, going up against Jose Soriano. First pitch is at 8:30. The Battlehawks took on the Birmingham Stallions over the weekend. Unfortunately, they lost 30-26, but City SC picked up a 3-1 victory over the Chicago Fire, and they'll take on LAFC on Wednesday with a start time of 7:30. John Mozeliak, president of baseball operations for your St. Louis Cardinals, talked with Tom Ackerman yesterday morning on the flagship station of your St. Louis Cardinals, KMOX. We're going to dive into that audio coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Played you a clip of John Mozeliak talking to the Cardinals flagship station KMOX over the weekend, and he was asked about Oli Marmol and to evaluate the job that Oli Marmol has done thus far. We played you a short clip. Now we're going to play you the full statement by Mo, and you listen. Have a listen for yourself. Tell me,
brace yourself.
What you think on this? I've got a distinct feeling that Jamie and I are on the same page with Mo here, but go ahead, Marsh, play it.
Well, I think it's these are times that are difficult. I still think he understands the job. I think he knows how to manage. I think he's trying to, put the right combination of players in. But, at some level, you got to have some performance. And, I understand, fans are not happy with myself. They're not happy with Oli. I don't think anything I say here today is going to change that. So I think we have to just keep trying to go back and try to get this to work. And, we understand if it doesn't, then, people are going to be held accountable. And, ultimately that starts with me.
He sounds like a guy, and let me know what you guys think, too. And you can always participate, leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. But he sounds to me, guys, like he's gotten to the point where it's like he knows this. He's probably right there with on the same level as Oli, where if this thing doesn't change, the front office will have no choice but to move on. He almost sounds less. I know a lot of people feel like he's arrogant, so I'll just use that same term. He's less arrogant about the situation, less be patient, and more like, we've got to get this thing turned around.
It's like he went from arrogant to depressed almost.
Yeah.
Like the sound of it. I'm not calling him arrogant. I'm saying the sound of it.
Right. And what else is he going to say? He could sit there and say, we're going to get this changed, we're going to get this figured out. It's still not going to matter. Cardinals fans are going to be ticked. We had a comment, and I'll paraphrase because it's already gone, but we got a comment in the snake pit that said, I'm to the point where I don't believe anything Mo says. So he's right when he states, I don't think I'm going to say anything that's going to change anybody's mind. He knows. He's to the point where if they don't start to get results, the front office is going to have to make sweeping changes here.
So that's the key right there. He said sweeping changes. Everything he said is we. When asked about Oli Marmol, So in some crazy way, and I don't know this to be true, but I think that ownership may have told Mo that he is attached to Oli. So if Mo feels the need to move on from Oli, then he needs to resign too, or he'll be reassigned or let go as well. I don't know that to be true. That's the feeling I get. And, Mo's apparently now out of nowhere flying out to L.A. to join the team. The team's going to have an off day on Thursday. All these things are lining up to where there could be big changes that are made. If the Cardinals lose 2 of 3 or get swept in this series, I don't think you can sit back any longer. I think, and as much as I don't think Oli is 100% the problem, I still think you have to make changes because it's just not right. And if Mo is the guy who gave Oli his extension and hired him to begin with, then you kind of have to show them both the door.
Yeah.
And that's a sweeping change. Now, is it Michael Gersh that takes over or is it Chaim Bloom? Personally, I would like to see Michael Gersh get a chance. I do. Chaim Bloom, I've seen what he's done in the past. It hasn't always been pretty.
Traded Mookie Betts.
And he traded Mookie Betts. He basically disassembled the Red Sox. He did. Like an assassin. I couldn't believe what he did. Like, the way he did it, like, that's a guy that
took Theo's finest work and said, you know what? This isn't good enough.
But he did.
It's actually Dave Dombrowski's team.
The way he did it, though, was almost to the point where he was going to be there for a decade.
Yeah.
And but he wasn't.
Right.
And so I don't know if I want to hand off the keys to Cardinal Nation to a guy that just got here either.
Right.
And although Michael Gersh is a part of a lot of these things,
yeah,
I think Michael Gersh's approval rating would be better immediately. I think he speaks to the media a little differently. I've heard him on several different shows, including BK and Ferrario. They have him on every year opening day.
Yeah.
He's very informative. He describes things. We don't know what he can do. Everybody's just quick to say, well, it can't be Michael Gersh just because we don't hear of him very often.
Sure.
How the hell do you think Mo Zaylock got his job? Walt Jockey, they all started somewhere.
I think that's very fair. I would, at this point, and this is just my opinion, bring somebody from outside the organization, fresh eyes. Mm-hmm. I think Gersh, and again, this might not be fair, but Gersh is either right there with Mo's line of thinking, or he's not pushing, and he disagrees, and he's not pushing back enough. Either way, I think having a fresh set of eyes to look at this mess.
So is Chaim Bloom fresh set of eyes?
No, I would move on there too. Yeah, I don't have a name right now.
But there's not a guy out there.
He's probably in Tampa or LA. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and they're probably being paid handsomely to do their jobs.
Probably.
But I definitely think that I believe this week against the Angels has got a significant amount of value attached to their success or lack thereof. If they're back and they win 2 out of 3, I think they kind of view the last game against the Brewers plus this series as steps in the right direction. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on the same page again. But if there's 2 out of 3 losses or a sweep, I think you see changes. I think you have to.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, and I wonder if, going back to the Gersh discussion, I wonder if there's enough credibility there just because we don't really hear from him. I don't know if the fans would get they want to hop on that bandwagon. But how can somebody get
credibility when they've never given a chance? And this is like
I agree.
But this is a personal thing for me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, because, and Anthony, you should know this, and Marshy, you should know this too. Because even in the radio business, how do you get to me? Well, he doesn't have enough airtime yet. Well, how the hell do I get airtime if you don't give me a chance?
Yeah, you're right.
How do I get an opportunity when I don't, or how do I get to advance when I don't get an opportunity? Mm-hmm. Michael Gersh has done enough right to put himself as a general manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, and think what you want of that organization right now, the success that they're not having on the baseball field. That's a pretty big damn deal to be the GM of the Cardinals. Now, if he's Mo's puppet, all this, how do we know? Maybe Gersh is the only one pushing back and he's overlooked, or we don't know. Or maybe he falls right in line. I have no idea. Mm-hmm. My bigger issue is just not giving a guy a chance because we just don't know what his resume is.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. I appreciate you throwing the radio thing right back in my face.
Right. Is it not true, though?
You're 100% true.
Reminds me of the whole Drew Bannister discussion.
Yeah, it does. And this is also where ownership comes in, mm-hmm. right? So you say ownership needs to have a pulse on what's going on. They have to say, all right, is Gersh pushing back? He's got different ideas that aren't being executed. Were there some ideas that he had, some players that he wanted that were passed on? I don't know. These are the things that we're not privy to. But if he was, then to Jamie's point, you say, okay, you do have enough of a perspective that is outside of what we just had to go.
Yeah. Or you don't, and we don't know, and you don't get the job.
And we got to move forward.
I think bottom line, this fan base is just done with this regime.
Yes.
I think that they don't care about basically what you just outlined. It's just get a new face in there. Let's see something different, and hopefully they can get better results.
Yeah. And if you want to leave us a mic drop on that, we're still talking about this. So are we getting closer to potential change? The other thing that you brought up, Jamie, that I want to get into next is When will we see that change? You know, do they get the rest of the year? Do you get to the trade deadline? So let's have that one next on 101 ESPN.
Hey guys, what's going on? It sounds to me like Mo took his glasses off, looked at things from a different perspective, and realized he might have made a few mistakes. Ultimately, he sounds deflated, and yes, I think he is trying to own up to his mistakes. Anyways, that's what I think.
That's Adam, who left us a mic drop here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page here. We hear somebody that is a little less unsure, a little less confident when it comes to the be patient tactic. I think that is his overall philosophy. I don't think that Mo is somebody that panics at all, and he's somebody that believes in the long view of things.
For the most part, and let's just be real for a second. In the professional sports industry, for the most part, that is the logic that makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. It just does. When I look at some of the successful front offices over the years, it's never about reactions. It's never about being hasty. It's not just flying out. It's all about like being patient, letting the process work out, letting your players develop. What's happened, though, is that the Cardinals overall have missed on decisions. It's not that they haven't let it play out, because they have, but they've let it play out with the wrong players. And so that's where the disconnect becomes when you hear the be patient with what?
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is that the pitching that has not been there for a number of years now, where the misses were on the draft picks, where the young guys who were supposed to bridge that gap were not ready. So now you had to go into panic mode, where you maybe held on to certain players longer than you should have because you were afraid of the Randy Arozarena effect, where you made other moves that you thought were prudent, you thought were the right ones, but being patient in those moments bit you in the keister. Mm-hmm. That's where it doesn't make sense anymore for the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And then you see, I just want to go back to what you said about there being too many misses. You're right. Goldschmidt has not been a miss.
No.
This season's been rough, but that has not been a miss. Arenado, you can't call it a miss because he didn't give up anything. Everybody would have done that trade.
He's not a miss. Those guys are not misses. I don't care.
When you look at certainly the Randy Arozarena trade, that was a miss. Maybe Matthew Liberatore, who knows, he's pitching tonight. Maybe he turns into a start. He has to turn into, at the very least, somebody that's going to be in your starting rotation for the foreseeable future.
He's got to stay as a top 3 pitcher.
Yeah. Even a fourth at this point.
Even a fourth is fine.
The Ozuna trade was a miss. I think that was the one, and I've made this point before, that truly set your organization back. Is there some hindsight to that? Yes. I understood why they did it, but they gave up 2 guys that could be, and I know Alcantara's hurt, but 2 guys that could be at the top of the rotation right now. Huge miss. Mm-hmm. Then when you get into all of the players that have moved on and that have been pretty good contributors in other spots, your Tyler O'Neil's, and I would have moved on from O'Neill too. Yeah, but why is this guy having so much success outside of your organization? Why did name the litany of players that had success outside of your organization? That is the question that if I'm ownership, I am demanding from my front office. Why?
Maybe that's why Mo is be patient now. Maybe that's how he became be patient guy. I'm not joking. Maybe he was hasty in the Ozuna trade, looking for that bopper. We know he kicked the tires on 3 players at that point with the Marlins.
Yeah.
And he ended up with Ozuna. So maybe he wasn't patient with Alcantara and Zach Gallen, these guys. And then maybe he wasn't patient with Randy Arozarena because of possibly the phone incident. And maybe that's how he became Mr. Be Patient, because he wasn't in other instances, and that reared its ugly head on him.
Right.
And now he's Mr. Be Patient at all cost.
He's also Mr. Misevaluation. Let's think about it. Where the Randy Arozarena deal has, and I said it at the time, go back 4 or 5 years ago when that deal was made. I said at the time, Jamie, this is as much about Tyler O'Neill and Harrison Bader and Dylan Carlson down the road as it is about Randy Arozarena. You did not keep Arozarena because you felt good about Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill. And for 1 year, it looked good with Tyler O'Neill. For, a month or so, it looked good for Bader, and that was it. So you gave up somebody that still is hitting in the middle of Tampa's order. Or maybe he's moved around now. I don't know if he hasn't had the greatest season. But look, we're 3-4 years into this now. This isn't just his red-hot October. I mean, it has carried it. He has been a very productive player for the Rays. They have maximized his value, regardless of whether or not he's slipping now. You have misevaluated your own players. And now you got a group that is severely underperforming. We need a new Gauntlet contestant, so if you want to participate in the Gauntlet, you can. Give us a text, 314-399-9646. Gauntlet will come up next. We'll have a new contestant here on 101 ESPN.
Four warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit Mastor.com.
4:01, your time check. Brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's time for the Gauntlet, which means it's time for a new contestant. We've got Sam on the line. What's up, Sam?
Not much, man. What's up?
Everything's going great here in the studio. It's a little rainy day today, but that's all right.
Yeah.
All right, Sam. First of all, is this your first time?
Yeah, first time.
All right. Well, congratulations on getting through. We appreciate you listening. Thanks for playing. Would you like to take on Marsh, Jamie, or me today?
I'll take on Jamie.
Oh.
Jamie is up.
All right.
Fresh off the trip to Vegas.
Yeah, Sam's trying to capitalize on the blurry brain.
Yeah, Sam knows that Jamie.
He's the only guy I've seen in person. So
okay.
I gotta go with that.
All right.
All right.
Fair enough.
No, not in a weird way. I was like behind the ice when I was 8 years old watching him play.
Oh, okay.
Well, Sam, if you're trying to call me old, it hurts, okay? I appreciate that.
Kind of where I thought he was going with it, so.
You're telling me you never watched Anthony Stalter fumble a football field?
Hey, come on.
Fumble?
Sam probably wasn't born.
No, just hitting bombs at the celebrity softball game.
There, Sam. Thank you, man. I needed that. That was a pure pump up. I like that. All right, Jamie, get the hell out of here.
All right,
I
Sam.
hope Sam wins today.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah, right on.
All right.
Sam wins today. What the hell's wrong with you?
He said something nice. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is, Jamie. All right, Jamie's going into the cone of silence right now. Sam, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
All right, spin that wheel.
What are we hoping for, Sam? I'm rooting for you.
I don't really know. Anything but hockey against Jamie, I guess.
Yeah.
That's what they all say. So.
Okay. How do you feel about random?
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Random trivia. 4 questions, all random. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options, and then those questions are worth 1 point. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go, Sam. Question number 1. A subplot in the 2015 sequel, Ted 2, follows the foul-mouthed title character and his best friend John as they break into whose mansion? Whose mansion do they break into in Ted 2?
Was it Tom's man? It's got to be Tom Brady's mansion, wasn't it? Yeah, let's go with Tom. Final answer.
All right.
Question number 2. In 1923, what did Missouri designate as its official state flower?
State flower. Give me the options.
Your options are the flowering dogwood, a purple lilac, or a white hawthorn blossom.
I was thinking the dogwood, but let's go with that. A dogwood, flowering dogwood. Final answer.
Question 3, Sam. Where did Basketball Hall of Famer Paul Pierce play his 3 years of college hoops?
Boo, KU. Final answer.
Question number 4. Congress did not approve the observance of Flag Day until August 3rd, 1949. Who was our president at the time?
49 had to be Missouri's own Truman. Or, no, who was it? Oh, man. Yeah, let's go with Truman. Final answer.
All right. Righty. Let's bring back Jamie Rivers.
Truman the Tiger.
Truman the Tiger. How you feeling, Sam?
All right. That wasn't bad. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Let's see how Jamie does here. Jamie strutting in right now. How you feeling?
I feel pretty good today. Got a good sleep last night.
Was Mike Ryder in there with the
No, he was a little lonely today.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah. How'd my guy Sam do?
Pack a lunch?
Random.
All right.
Random trivia. Here we go. You ready?
No.
Question 1, Jamie.
Yeah.
A subplot in the 2015 sequel, Ted 2, follows the foul-mouthed title character and his best friend John as they break into whose mansion?
Oh, God. Give me the options.
Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Oprah Winfrey.
It's Tom Brady. Final answer.
Question number 2. In 1923, what did Missouri designate as its official state flower?
Really? Seems like an easy question for a guy from Canada. You know what? I have a pretty good idea, but let's hear the options.
Thought you'd say that. Is it A, flowering dogwood, B, purple lilac, or C, white hawthorn blossom?
I mean, these three were the three I was thinking about, so this is tough.
Yeah.
What's that first one again?
Flowering dogwood.
Yeah, let's go with that one. The old dogwood. Final answer.
Question 3, Jamie. Where did Basketball Hall of Famer Paul Pierce play his 3 years of college hoops?
Again, it's right there. I should know this, actually. Options, please.
Arkansas, Kansas, Kentucky.
Oof. Okay. I don't think it was Kentucky, but I really don't know. Who am I kidding? It's basketball. Arkansas. Is he Razorback? Seems like he was a hell of a player. Should have probably been a Jayhawk. Right, Anthony?
I'm asking you.
I know you are. I'll go with Kansas, please.
All right.
Final answer.
Question number 4. Congress did not approve the observance of Flag Day until August 3rd, 1949. Who was our president at that time? By our president, I mean Anthony and I's president.
Right.
This really screwed me, this one, didn't it? We got state flowers. And,
that was funny, Mark.
Just going to tell you, I don't feel great.
Sure, yeah.
Give me the options, please. 49?
1949, when Schoolboy Rowe was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I was about to say, he didn't play in that. He played in like 1919.
Yeah. It took him about 19 years to get, finally inducted.
Yeah.
But, all right, your options are Harry S. Truman, Herbert Hoover, or Franklin D. Roosevelt.
49, huh? Would you say Hoover?
We have Harry S. Truman, Herbert Hoover, Franklin D. Roosevelt.
I'm going to go with Hoover. Final answer.
All right.
The old Justin Herbert Hoover Dam.
That was ugly.
Sam versus Jamie in random. Sam, what do you do, if you don't mind me asking?
I build and install kitchen cabinets.
All right, okay.
For Ev's Cabinet Shop. If anybody needs some, give us a holler. Look us up on Facebook.
Dropping free ads out here.
Come on now, Sam.
Sure, it's a great company.
No, I asked. I opened up the door. All right, here we go. Question number 1. A subplot in the 2015 sequel, Ted 2, follows the foul-mouthed title character and his best friend, John, as they break into whose mansion? Jamie, you went with Tom Brady. Sam, you went with Tom Brady. Correct answer is?
Well, if you would have watched the movie, you would have known. Or if you would have watched the roast of Tom Brady, you would have known that it was Tom Brady's mansion.
Both got it right. Sam did not need the options, though. We got a 2-1 lead for Sam.
I can see what kind of movies you watch, Sam.
In 1923, in 1923, what did Missouri designate as its official state flower? Sam, you took the options. You went with the flowering dogwood. Jamie, you also went wood. Correct answer is?
It is the white hawthorn blossom.
Yeah, sure. Everybody remembers that. 2-1 lead still for Sam. Where did Basketball Hall of Famer Paul Pierce play his 3 years of college hoops? Sam, you said Kansas with a boo. Is it boo, Kansas? Jamie, you said, hey, he's too good to be a Razorback. You almost had to be a KU player, right? Correct answer is?
It is indeed the Kansas Jayhawks.
Nice job, guys. But Sam did not need the options on that one. We got a 4-2 lead for Sam.
Blanked.
You know where this is going? Yep. Congress did not approve the observance of Flag Day until August 3rd, 1949. Who was our president at that time? Jamie took the options. You went with Herbert Hoover. Sam.
Yeah, that has really sucked.
Sam, you didn't even... Really? Sam, you didn't even need the options. You went with Harry S. Truman. Sam.
You have chosen wisely.
It was Harry S. Truman. Sam, 6. Jamie, 2. Sam, nice work, man. Impressive.
Well done, buddy.
Impressive showing today.
No, right on. Them questions were kind of up the alley. Thanks.
Nice work. Nice job.
They're up the alley, all right. Not mine.
Not the Canadians. Sam, you'll be back tomorrow to take on Marsh or me. Congratulations.
Not right on, cool.
All right. We'll see you, buddy. Nice job.
Yep.
See ya. I thought he was going to say, I asked him what he did. I thought maybe teacher. Kind of had a wide.
He segued that into an infomercial.
Yeah, he did.
Anthony.
Yeah, he did a nice job.
He's like, Anthony, wait, there's more.
This is what I do. It's a passion of mine, also a business. You can find it. I like Sam. All right, it's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Let's get back into the conversation about the Cardinals. Are Oli and Mo a package deal? If one goes, the other go. It's next on 101 ESPN. With Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, and we called our guy Stewie today to talk about something kind of serious because Stewie, one of the worst things to have is a load of credit card debt, especially with inflation, these credit card rates where they're at. And I know you can help listeners that might be struggling with something like that.
Anthony, the Federal Reserve is keeping rates where they are. Inflation is too high. It's affecting credit card rates. They're high. Average credit card rate between 20 and 30%. It's really starting to strangle our community, our people, our friends. So what you need to do is consolidate it all into one loan, improve your cash flow with it. At the end of the day, will improve your credit score. And later on, rates go down. You refinance at a much better situation. Now, be careful. Don't go out and get a home equity line of credit. Those rates don't have caps. They're adjustables. You pay interest only, so you never get anywhere with it. Be smart, get one fixed rate loan, and you'll be ahead of the game.
Yeah, be smart, call Stewie. Because it's too difficult sometimes to navigate what's going on, and we guess sometimes, or we think we know, and we make big mistakes. You don't need to have that happen. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call Stewie on his personal cell phone number. That number's 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Call him, text him, day, night. Our guy Stewie's there, and you just heard him. He's got great ideas to help you out of trouble, out of debt, so you don't mess things up even more. So please give him a call as soon as you can. If you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can you do?
You can always Google the Mega Loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN has your chance to win free tickets to Primus and Coheed and Cambria, playing at Co-Bill on Saturday night, August 3rd at St. Louis Music Park.
You want me to lie?
Find all the ticket details and find that chance to win free tickets for Primus and Coheed and Cambria right now, either at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 mobile app.
Hey guys, I think it's time for just the whole coaching staff to be revamped, whatever you want to call it. But I don't think it can be something that we have to rebuild down to the studs. I think it could be something as little as trading away assets now and going about our business like the Giants did in 10, 12, and 14 when they won World Series. Pitch really well, play very good defense, and have young hitters, which we have.
Agree with you. You're right.
That was Janet at the end there. We didn't have an opportunity to get the name on the first one, so great mic drop, whoever it was. I think that's interesting. The further the Giants have gotten away from just strong pitching and good defense, the more the losing seasons have actually piled up, which is interesting, right? Like they had 108 wins or whatever it was a couple of years ago, but that was a complete fluke. It was a complete fluke. In 2010, 2012, 2014, they had Buster Posey, and they had a young, homegrown pitching staff. Lincecum, Kane, Jonathan Sanchez at the time, and, of course, Madison Bumgarner. Bumgarner, I think, was 19 or 20 when they won in 2010. And then by the end of it, in 2016, he was carrying that squad on its back. Why? Because a lot of those pitchers kind of faded out, and they never replaced them. In fact, they traded Zach Wheeler in 2011.
That seemed to work out.
For Carlos Beltran, for a half year of Beltran, and they did not make the playoffs. But so, and again, I think that was a great mic drop, and Todd, thank you. So Marsh just got the name for us, Todd. I think he absolutely nailed that. The further that the Cardinals have gotten away from strong pitching, I mean really strong pitching, suffocating defense, I think the worse they've gotten. And I've fallen for it too, where you sit there and you watch the 2019 NLCS and you say, oh boy, you don't have enough top-end players. You don't have enough top-end hitting. I fell for it last year, going into last year. Boy, this offense is going to be great. Look at this.
We all did, man.
Jamie, look, who starts with the ball every time? It's the pitcher. It's the pitcher's game.
Yeah. But so...
Don't you sell me.
No, the only way out of this for the Cardinals is, quite honestly, the homegrown talent. Because they're not going to pay the money. And let's be honest, all the big money goes to guys who have had great careers. And some of them never duplicated again, and now you're pot committed for $150 million.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it's gone in baseball now. Is it's not like you're getting a 5 or 6 year deal to a 27-year-old or 28-year-old in his prime, where you're paying him big money because you're going to get the best years of his career. Most of them are post 30 years old, and look at what we're seeing with the pitchers' arms these days. Mm-hmm. They're going rubber arm before you know it. So the only way to do it effectively is to draft and develop and find the right guys. If you're going to have that rotation that haunts people's dreams.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, otherwise, even look at last year when the Rangers went out and got everything that they got, and then Scherzer and all those guys. Mm-hmm. Scherzer got hurt.
Yep.
So there was nothing there. Other guys have huge money. Jacob deGrom, big money. He's been hurt. Yeah. Who else? Give me a couple other ones.
From the Rangers?
Anywhere. Just any team. Big money off to a pitcher. All of a sudden, he's got some other problems.
The Mets with Verlander and Scherzer. Last year.
Or
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Or
no, it was last year, wasn't it?
Last year. Yeah. 2 years ago they signed him. It was last year they traded Scherzer and Verlander.
Right.
So there's absolutely no guarantee on an older, proven arm. And so the model of just spending money, it's really not sustainable.
Right.
And it's a bit of a risk too.
You know, and before somebody says it too, I get it. Their pitching and their defense has been good this year, and they're in last place. You can't have an offense that is terrible. That's the caveat.
Well, the offense has just been so bad.
They do have good pitching and defense. So before anybody says it, or I'm sure somebody already has, hey, guys, hey, idiots, they have good defense and pitching this year.
They really haven't.
Why aren't they winning this year then? Because their offense is bottom 3 in every main statistical offensive category. You can't be dreadful offensively.
It's really wild.
You know what's interesting
to see the lack of success offensively.
So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Todd brought up the Giants 2010, 2012, 2014 wins, right? I would be, if I go back to 2009, I think the Giants statistically were absolutely dreadful offensively. Like 2008, 2009, I think they were horrible. In 2010, that's when they called up Buster Posey to replace Benji Molina, and their offense started to click. You can have an average offense. It gets hot at the right time, but your basis has got to be pitching and defense. You cannot be dreadful offensively.
You can't have a historically awful offense and be like, but we got pitching and defense.
Right. Exactly.
It doesn't matter because no matter how good your pitching and defense is, odds are you're giving up 3 runs a game.
Right.
That's just what the numbers tell me. I look at the pitchers' ERAs, tells me you're giving up about 3 runs a game, like across the board, Major League Baseball. So you got to put up more than 3 runs a game to win.
Yeah.
There's the odd outlier, of course, but
sure, there always is.
Yeah.
So Jamie, we were talking about this earlier when we played the audio from John Mozeliak. Do you think that Mo and Oli are tied together at this point? Because I do. I'm starting to get to that point where I think those two guys are tied together. And if Mo goes, Ollie's gone too. But you can't get rid of Oli and give Mo another bite at the apple when it comes to the manager. Didn't work out for various reasons with Matheny. He's hired 3 managers. Matheny, Shildt, and there's some stuff going on, beyond the scope of what only fans think with Shildt, and then Oli. So those 3 guys. They're all Mo hires.
You're
going to give him a chance to hire a 4th guy?
Well, they're all first-time managers, too.
Right.
So Mo has a flavor, apparently, is to get somebody brand new. So Mo, there might be some truth. As I sit here, it just now kind of hit me. There might be some truth to Mo wanting yes men. There might be. And maybe that's why he specifically picks first-time managers, so that he can feel like he's got more say in the process, because how are they going to clap back? And people can write your text now about Mike Shildt. Well, look at what happened with Shilty. There's more than meets the eye that happened with that whole situation.
There wasn't just, let's just say this. There wasn't just a Mo situation.
No. There was lots of clapping back with several people. It just may have not been the best fit. Whatever the case. Right. Mike Shildt was a first-time manager. Now Oli Marmol's a first-time manager. Like, people usually tell you about themselves when there's a pattern to their behavior. So what would be next then? Would Mo fire Oli and hand the reins off to Daniel Descalso to finish out the year?
Right.
Because that's, because he'll do what I tell him. And that, unfortunately, I've never believed in that narrative until I just finally thought about 3 first-time managers.
And I know there's a lot of people now. I'm seeing one in the snake pit right now saying, I've said for years that Mo wants a yes man. Yeah, clearly. He didn't hire Francona. This last time around, I don't remember him looking outside the organization too deeply.
I don't remember any of the names that were surrounding the job search.
And wasn't Joe Madden available?
I don't.
After Shildt? Or do I have my crossover?
I think
was there a crossover?
Madden was still, I think he was with the Angels still at the time.
Okay.
And that went south. I think it went south Ollie's first year, because that's when Albert moved on to the Dodgers, and then the next year, maybe I'm wrong.
See.
While you look that up, do you think that an experienced manager could extract the most out of this roster, or do we believe that this roster is the problem?
I think the roster is the problem.
I do, but here's what I feel about a veteran manager. Is a veteran manager more than likely has lived this situation before, because they've been fired. So they've been down this road to where they see there's tells. And sometimes a veteran guy can come in and notice things that a first-time manager hasn't noticed yet because he hasn't lived that moment. And so then when the veteran manager sees certain behaviors or maybe lack of work ethic or certain strategies, he can take past experience and go, hey, hang on.
Yeah.
Why don't we try this? Or as a group, we need to do this.
Frick James brings up a good point. He says Bochy, Anthony. Yeah,
that's...
Bruce Bochy would have been available. I don't know if he would have, if he was ready to come back to manage. Like he was in the Giants front office, and then he kind of got the itch again, and then he went to Texas. By the way, Madden's final year was Oli's first year, so you're right. He was still
under contract.
Yes.
He was still managing.
Yeah.
Also, I just wonder if, like, the idea of having a first year manager. Like, because these managers need to start somewhere, right? Like, we're not going to argue against that. They have to start somewhere. I just wonder if you have an established organization like the Cardinals with so much success over the past X amount of years that I wonder if you allow another team to develop that manager, and then you go grab said manager. Much like in basketball and football, college basketball, we see a lot of these head coaches who start at a lower program and then prove themselves, and then they jump to a bigger program. That's how I would want to go about my team. I don't know if I just throw a first-year manager in a team, in a clubhouse with players that can ultimately get to the highest level. Like, I feel like over the past 5 years, this team has had potential to make it far. We saw it in 2019, whether or not you think that was a fluke, whatever. Like, those teams had potential. I think this roster now doesn't have it, but there are signs from an on-paper standpoint, like, they could be a lot better than they are right now.
I think John Mozeliak's manager selection has gone hand in hand with the organization, at least from most standpoint, of being new age. New age.
Yeah.
We brought in the Jeff Albert hitting system and all that they did with their analytics there.
Yeah.
They overlooked anything to do with the pitching, which is astonishing to me at the time. But you kind of went with this new wave of the numbers don't lie. Let's bring in a young guy who's going to embrace the numbers game.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was La Russa. Well, who was before La Russa? Was it Whitey?
No. Yes. No.
Joe Torre had a stint in there.
Okay. Stand corrected. But look at those guys. That's like you go from those types of managers to, no offense to Mike Matheny, because I think the world of him, and I think he's got an unbelievable amount of knowledge, but he had not been battle tested at any pro level as a manager.
Yeah, you're right.
He was coaching Little League, and Mike Matheny got his chance to jump in there.
Yep.
And then you move on to Mike Schilt, who had been a lifer in the minors and bench coach and things like that. Nobody really knew who Mike Schilt was. And then you go with Oli.
Yep.
And the outlier is Mike Schilt, because I think that Mo thought he was going to follow the way it's all going, but he ended up being the one who bucket the most, where he was like, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't know. I do believe they're joint at the hip in this situation. I do believe that if the Cardinals move on from Oli, I think they have to reassign Mo somewhere else.
I agree. Maybe Mo just steps away.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Mo's got to go.
I just don't see him doing that.
What happens first is what we're going to play next. So what happens first? If you got a selection for us, a choice for us, text in now, 314-399-9646. What happens first next in the Fast Lane?
Are you in the market for replacement windows? Please call my friends over at Window World, preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. And Window World, they're ranked #1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Why are they selling so many windows? Because they make an unbelievable window. It's a double strength glass that gives it a strength that you don't find in other replacement windows. And on days like today or days when there's heavy storms, some of those other replacement windows, they crack, they break, maybe they leak, maybe they're not installed properly. Not with Window World. That double strength glass is awesome, and the technicians measure everything properly, install it perfectly, and Window World backs it all up with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, so things have gotten even better for you, as Window World loves their customers. So please make sure that if you're looking for windows, give them a call. Tell them Jamie Rivers from 101 sent you in there. That number is 314-993-1800. Again, that's Window World at 314-993-1800 or windowworldstlouis.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals dropped 3 of 4 over the weekend to the Milwaukee Brewers. They picked up a victory yesterday. They'll take on the Los Angeles Angels tonight as Matthew Liberatore takes the mound, going up against Jose Soriano. First pitch is at 8:38. Also over the weekend, the Battlehawks lost to the Birmingham Stallions by a final score of 30-26. However, City SC picked up a victory 3-1 against the Chicago Fire. They'll take on LAFC on Wednesday with a start time of 7:30. Coming up next, we have What Happens First. So if you have a What Happens First statement you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. What Happens First coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
As Marsh just told you in the Sports Center update, we have what happens first. You have a what happens first scenario you want to throw at Jamie and me? Great. Send it in. 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
All right, let's start off with the 314. What happens first? The Cards draft/develop an MVP/Cy Young, or Angel Hernandez calls a good game?
Well, this is easy for me. The Cardinals lined
Angel
up.
Hernandez.
No, Anthony. Angel Hernandez hasn't called a good game in 20 years.
Very true.
The odds. I think the Cardinals could find something within 20 years.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
I like the snark, though. I like the level of snark that we started this off with. I appreciate that. All right, Marsh, what else you got?
From the 314, what happens first? Kachuk wins a Stanley Cup, or Connor McDavid wins a Stanley Cup?
Kachuk.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be this year, too.
Ooh, okay.
I do.
They look good. They look good again.
Speaking of Connor McDavid and the Oilers, do you think they continue to do the same thing every year? Like, they sort of remind me of the Cardinals in a sense. Like, they have the players. You think of Nolan Arenado. Paul Goldschmidt. They have those two pillars, but they just continue to put out what seems like the same damn roster every single season and end up having the same result.
So, Jamie, you and I were talking about this a little bit in the office, and it's interesting. So, you're right, Marsh. You've got all of these offensive players. You've got Draisaitl. You've got McDavid. You got Zach Hyman. You've got Nugent Hopkins. You got all these. You're loaded for bear there. But in a cap sport, if you're great in one area, it means you're going to be deficient in others. And if it's that whole you're only as strong as your weakest link sentiment, right? So you don't have the depth then. And they have never had the depth seemingly with the defense or the goaltending. So you kind of have to rob Peter to pay Paul if you're going to be loaded like they are from a forward standpoint.
You've got the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs that have been basically designed the same way, and both general managers have made big mistakes, and it's not even their fault.
Yeah.
But here is the kiss of death when you're a team that is terrible for so long and you get all of these high draft picks like consecutively. So like Toronto ended up with like Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Riley. Then they went and got Tavares because they added a leader to the group. But then every single one of their players became great.
Right. You got to pay them.
Although they haven't won anything, you have to pay them. What happened with the Oilers? Same damn thing. So now McDavid, and they're all worth their dollar value. The problem is it's a cap sport.
Yeah.
So what suffered? Now the Oilers have 3 defensemen that are capable. The bottom 3 are not capable. And the goaltender, he's having a hard time getting hit out there right now. So that's what's costing them. That's why Vancouver's winning. That's why Vancouver's beating them.
Yep.
And it's not like if you're Ken Holland or you whoever in Brad Treliving now in Toronto, what do? Like Treliving now is probably going to move on from one of the core 4 as they call it, but it's taken how many years? And then how do you justify making a trade where you're like, okay, we're going to trade Leon Draisaitl?
Right.
Do you think teams get punished by developing good players?
So I've said this for years now. I think that each team should have a player that's exempt from the salary cap.
Ooh, interesting.
And it cannot be an unrestricted free agent or anybody you trade for. If you draft and develop a player, that player's salary, you earmark it, right? That player's salary is never counted against the salary cap.
Almost like a franchise tag in a sense, a little bit different, but
kind of. And
same
each year,
kind of theory.
And you can move it around each year, but it can only be moved to a player that you've drafted and developed. It was never been with another organization.
I like that idea a lot.
And it inspires teams then to hang on to popular players or good players that they've drafted, and fans fall in love with them. They buy jerseys. Now you know that. I'm sorry?
It's a bit of a reward for everybody, the fan, the player, the team.
Because a small market team is less likely to hold on to what could be a superstar because of the amount of money that they can or cannot pay a player. You know, if the Blues had a superstar, who knows if they'd be able to actually pay them and keep the team good.
Well, how do you think it would affect your team if you were able to take Robert Thomas's salary off the books?
It'd be amazing.
Now what could you add to your team?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the McDavid, his 11 or 12 or $13 million would come off. Matthews, the $14 million would come off. Like, it gives teams an awful good opportunity, and it inspires teams to draft properly, too.
I think for the Blues, that idea could maybe change people's perception if you did it for Jordan Kyrou, because then it's like, okay, well, it's not affecting anything. He can go out and just score his goals and do what he does without people coming down and saying, well, he's getting paid $8 million and, he's not living up to. Right. I don't know if that would change anything, but it would be interesting.
Yeah. Well, the text line pops up too as a couple of Petrangelos.
Yeah.
Oh, good call.
Imagine, you've got him because you drafted him, you developed him, and free agency came knocking, and then never mind what the dollar value was. You could be like, yeah, that's fine.
Here you go. Yeah, I'm going to reward you.
Yeah.
Because you're, in some respects, an ambassador for this organization, and we want you to be here for the long haul, and fans appreciate and respect you, so here you go.
All right, let's do one more. We're getting this one from a lot of different texters. What happens first? Oli Marmol gets fired or Craig Berube gets hired?
Craig Berube will be hired this week.
Yeah.
He's going to be the next head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow.
Remember me saying
There you go. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I think Jamie's onto something.
Possibly.
He speaks as if he knows, so.
Now, does Berube, would he be a better fit in Toronto? Would he be a better fit in New Jersey, Ottawa? Like, what is his best fit?
So I actually thought Chief was a great fit in Ottawa. I don't know if Ottawa or Chief felt that way. I do know that he is a perfect fit for Toronto. Those guys need somebody. So they had Mike Babcock, right, who floors it with intimidation. It was too much for those young guys. It was a pressure cooker around that locker room a lot. The players were uneasy. They weren't allowed to be creative and even offer feedback. Then you went to Sheldon Keefe, to where the players, I don't want to say they didn't respect me because that's unfair, but they questioned certain things he did.
For sure.
Because at that point, your younger players had become superstars, who the superstars almost eclipsed your new hire.
You're like,
as far as
who the hell is this guy?
Correct. Even though, not exactly, or maybe we don't know every day that's how it went, but I know for sure there were times. Now you bring in Craig Berube. One, he's a former Maple Leaf, and everybody in Toronto knows who Craig Berube is. Two, all these kids are going to Google him or YouTube him and know right away. And then when Chief walks in and he's not the guy you think he is, when he walks in and he's got a presence to him and has to say very little to get his point across, he's got a Stanley Cup under his belt. He's coached some of the good young players coming up, the Thomases, the Kyrous, like you name it, he's been there. When he talks to Austin Matthews or Mitch Marner about a second effort or more of a 200-foot game, or talks to anybody about they're going to listen. And it's amazing how a team can sometimes emulate their coach. And I think Toronto's needing somebody like Craig Berube.
I agree.
I wish it would have happened here.
Yeah.
But that, 2019.
At the back half.
2019.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hey, you got the front half.
We did, and I really appreciate that front half.
It's great if you can get the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you're going to get any of that, the front half is
absolutely.
Yeah, you want a cup. 101 ESPN has your chance to win. That's us, by the way. To win a pair of tickets for the first Beer Friday Cardinals game against the Red Sox this Friday night at Busch Stadium. First Beer Friday tickets start at just $15 and will include your first cold beer on the house. Text in now, 314-399-9646 to score a pair of tickets to the Cardinals game this Friday night against the Red Sox. You get all the ticket info for this Friday night's first Beer Friday game now at cardinals.com/Friday. Jamie just said which team Craig Berube will be hired by, who he thinks they'll be hired, who will hire Chief next. Who is that team? You got to be the 101st texter, plus have that answer. Text in 314-399-9646 to score a pair of tickets to the Cardinals game this Friday night against the Red Sox. Is it time for Matthew Liberatore to stay in this rotation period? Regardless of the ups and downs, do you just commit? Jamie's got a disgusted look on his face.
It's not the look.
So I'm sure he loves the idea. I'll tell you why next on 101 ESPN.
Well, with the weather out there being wet and rainy, sometimes you have these car accidents that happen, and wouldn't it be nice to know that you are covered properly by an agent and a company that cares about you? That's where the Bibb Agency comes in with Tracy Bibb. You're going to get that great customer service that you require, and Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, they're always battling to get you the best rate, but they're also making sure that on days like today, or if there's bad storms and your home needs to be protected, that you have the proper coverage. And if you don't know what your coverage is, you can always call Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency and talk to a representative. It's not a 1-800 number. It's not somebody who's never met you before. It's going to be someone from the Bibb Agency that takes great care of you and brings up your policy immediately. They'll text you certain documents, email you things right on the spot. It really makes a difference when you know your agent and then you know that your agent is taking great care of you. So please call for Tracy Bibb for a free non-committal quote today. That number is 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, Anthony Stalter. Is it time for Matthew Liberatore to step up? Yeah, I would say so. He's young. He's a young pitcher, but if he wants to stay in this starting rotation moving forward, yeah, there's got to be a production element to him. I don't think you have to necessarily figure out what he is right this very second. But if he wants to stay in the starting rotation moving forward here, and there is an opportunity with Steven Matz hurt yet again, then yeah. And you look at his numbers. I mean, he's got a 3.54 ERA. He's got a 3.38 FIP. So whether you're a standard numbers guy or advanced metrics guy, both the numbers are very good. So the issue now comes in where what do you trust? Because bullpen numbers can be kind of skewed. When you're a reliever, those numbers can be a little tricky. If he stays in the starting rotation, you do now have somebody that, for all intents and purposes, is homegrown. You acquired him from Tampa Bay when he was 21 years old. So he was far from a finished product when you acquired him in the Randy Rosarina trade. But I would love to see the Cardinals give him an extended run here. Why not?
You kind of have to. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Matthew Liberatore, but it's go time. Like, that's the bottom line. Hey, your team needs you right now. And it's not like Matthew Liberatore doesn't want the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he's interviewed, he's like, I'll pitch as much as they ask me to. Like, he's a guy who wants the ball in his hand. And as a manager, as an organization, that's what I want from a young pitcher.
Right.
I don't want a guy who's shying away from the opportunity. I want a guy who's hungry for it. And it's time. Find out what the hell he is, but leave him in there. Like, you have no reason to take him out right now. Steven Matz, who knows when he'll be back or if he'll even be back.
Yeah.
Who knows the extent of what's going on there. Zach Thompson, I think that experiment is kind of veered off the rails a little bit here. For whatever reason, his velocity was down this year. His control was not as good. And so he's retooling some things down in Memphis. So Libby's your guy. Give him the ball and let him pitch.
Yeah. And
don't just make him an opener. Like, I keep hearing people talk about, let him get through the rotation. Let him get through the rotation once and see, what he feels. No, let him pitch, man.
Yeah.
So what, are you going to screw up your bullpen every fifth day because you don't trust this kid?
Yeah. Plus, even the Rays, who kind of kicked off the opener trend, they're not doing an opener anymore. Every once in a while they will, but they kind of kicked that trend too.
But this is what I hear from people surrounding the team and other people.
Well,
let him get through the lineup.
What's the team done?
This is why I'm frustrated.
If the team is saying it, Jamie, I think they should do the exact opposite.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Liberatore, too. Jamie, he throws his four-seamer 24% of the time. He's got a sinker. He's throwing 22% of the time, a cutter 20% of the time, a slider 19%. He's got a 5 or 6 pitch. And he throws a change of 5% of the time, but he's got a mix here. This is not a Jordan Hicks situation when he was still here and he was throwing.
I wish we had him.
Max, I know, but he's throwing Max out, right? And
they wouldn't let him throw it.
The guys were still squaring him up.
Yeah,
he wasn't fooling anybody. 2 pitches and a third-ish pitch. Liberatore's got more than enough of a repertoire here, and you're losing. Now is probably the time where you say, okay, we now have to move into, 1, we need a pitcher. 2, we need to move more into if we have to let guys grow up at the big league level, so be it, because we got to figure out who's going to be here and who's not.
Anthony, here's your biggest obstacle.
Last place?
Well, that's a big one.
The Brewers?
No, you have nobody else. You have nobody else to give that ball to.
You have Sam Roberset.
Okay.
Roberset.
Same concept, though. Same concept, though. If you're going to bring up him, then you give him the ball and let him go.
Right.
But what I'm saying is you don't have anybody else in your bullpen currently that you're like, well, we bump him up to the rotation.
I don't know what you're yelling at me. I agree with you.
I'm yelling at you because I'm passionate about what I'm saying, Anthony.
I'm with you on this.
I didn't say you weren't. Why do you have to argue with me even when you agree with me?
Give him the ball. long stretch of highway here. Now, if he winds up being Victor Scott and, he's overmatched and all that stuff, then,
Victor Scott doesn't pitch, though.
I know, but what I'm saying is the concept. I liked when they gave Victor Scott an opportunity.
I don't like what's going on here. We've had a good show so far, and you two are bickering.
No, we're not bickering.
Arguing against each other.
This is Anthony agreeing with me. He still finds a way to fight with me.
I think he likes it.
Oh, I know he does.
We have gone about 3 hours. We haven't bickered yet.
It's true. It's been way too friendly.
Yeah.
It's because we've had a common enemy. The Cardinals.
Right. Jamie and I, we will butt heads. But if there's a common enemy, that enemy's going to get through.
Then we'll put our heads together.
Yes.
And we'll butt them.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 heads always make a right.
Correct.
That's how it goes. That's how the saying goes.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Is the lineup out yet?
No, I don't think so.
Hopefully soon.
Does it make any sense? Any sense at all to trade Ryan Helsley? Apparently the Orioles are interested. We're getting to that next on 101 ESPN. As I look outside the studios right now, I'm seeing that it's raining again. It's not a hard rain, but we've gotten some bad storms recently. How's your roof holding up? If it's not, then you got to give my friends at Happy Roof a call, because if you have a leaky roof, an old roof, a damaged roof, how about an ugly roof? You just want to, swap that thing out, maybe increase the appeal of your home, then give Happy Roof a call. If you do have an issue, and you call them today, they will have someone to look at your issue within 24 hours. Happy Roof Company, they do residential and commercial roofing. They have superior high-end products, 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, financing options that are available. They work with real estate. They do the real estate transactions. They give detailed inspection reports, in fact, for real estate transactions. Up-to-date product knowledge, and they don't chase storms. They're not one of these companies that come in and out with every storm, and you don't know if they're going to be around to honor the warranty. No, not with Happy Roof. 100% of their market is in St. Louis and the surrounding areas. Their headquarters, in fact, right there in Sunset Hills. Cost-effective solutions on flat roofing and metal roofs. Free estimates with competitive pricing. Give them a call, 314-665-3001, thehappyroof.com. It's the Happy Roof Company. A report, a rumor about Ryan Helsley and the Baltimore Orioles. The Orioles could be interested in adding some bullpen help because, they're winning games, meaningful games, first place team. And they could be interested in Ryan Helsley. Who wouldn't be? It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Exactly.
Does it make any sense to trade Ryan Helsley? Look, Jamie, this goes hand in hand with a lot of the conversations that we've had about the Cardinals. What's the direction? What is the direction of this team? Because they actually do have a fair amount of young players that if they just want to turn the page here, Goldschmidt, you're not going to get anything for at this point. You might as well just let it ride out. Maybe at the deadline you can get something. He's a rental. Okay. I won't belabor the point. I would have traded him a year ago when his value was so high and he still had a full year left. But regardless, Arenado, you could still probably get something decent for.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to jumpstart a rebuild? Fine. Other than that, you can fill out the rest of your starting 9 here. 8 minus the pitcher with homegrown talent. You want to go that route? If that's the case, and you want to go down that path, I don't think trading Ryan Helsley makes a lot of sense. I don't think this is a team that you completely tear it down to the studs. You don't have enough of the veteran players, quite frankly, to do that. This isn't a situation like Theo Epstein and the Cubs. When he took over, he looked at it, he goes, wow, I have got to deal every last veteran while we're losing so that I can get top picks and really rebuild this thing. I don't view it that way. Now with Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn and, Brendan Donovan's a good player for you. Wilson Contreras, you're not going to trade, especially not now when he's hurt.
Yeah.
I think that the fastest way to rebuild this thing is not to completely tear it down. Certainly not give up a pitcher. I think the fastest way to retool or rebuild this thing on the fly would be to add young pitching. Guys that are actually going to provide a spark for you.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but how do you acquire that? You can't say draft and develop because you don't have time.
I wish you could develop some of these guys that you have in your minor league system right now.
But they're obviously not wowing anybody because it's not just like the Cardinals.
Yeah.
If they were wowing people, we'd hear about it. All the pipeline, MLB pipeline, we'd hear all about it from these guys. Now, Tin Cans has had himself a nice year, but he's still a couple of steps away from playing in the majors.
Right.
So I just don't see where the replacements are coming from if you're talking about bringing up young pitching.
Yeah.
From where? So when I look at Ryan Helsley, I look at a guy that even self-admittedly the team was like, well, yeah, we weren't able to get him into a couple of those games because we didn't have the lead.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going to be good, why would you hang on to Ryan Helsley?
Right.
If you're just going to have to burn his arm on certain days because you're down by 3 or 4 runs and you got to get him some action, that doesn't seem productive. If a team like the Orioles, who, by the way, know what young talent looks like, if they're making a trade with you, you're probably going to get something pretty good in return.
Who did they get for Flaherty last year?
Prieto and Drew Rom, if I'm not mistaken.
It was those two. Prieto's pretty good.
Yeah, he is.
Well, he's a young guy, Anthony. He wasn't a Gold Glove.
That wasn't my point there. He is a good player.
What, Drew Rom?
No, I was talking about Prieto.
Okay. I'm not following.
I'm not picking up what you're putting down right now.
I don't want to. You got Rom in that deal too.
You got robbed? Is that what you said?
Rom in that deal too.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm lost, so I'm going to keep the feet moving.
What I'm saying is that I don't know if you got a good player. I don't know if you got 2 good players there.
I don't either. One guy's hurt right now. Another pitcher out.
Right.
I'm with you. But that was Jack Flaherty. I think Ryan Helsley right now, his stock, I don't know if it's ever been higher.
Mm-hmm.
He's got great stuff. He's closing out games. He's got the edge to him. Wants the ball on more nights than not now. So I think that it would be a little higher than Prieto and Drew Rom that came back the other way. Or maybe it's one player, but that player's really, a higher prospect.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm doing it is if I'm looking at this team going, how many save opportunities or closes is this guy going to get for me?
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm looking at it more as how can I retool this thing on the fly? You can have some bats. Like I'm done trying to piece this thing together offensively. I can't do it. I need to go the pitching route. So if I'm going the pitching route, I'm going my investment is going to be from the pitching standpoint. I'm going to keep Ryan Helsley the back end of my bullpen. I know I got a closer. I know I got somebody to close games for me. My bullpen is good. So that's all I'm saying with that. I'm looking to give up Arenado. I'm looking to get something out of Goldschmidt if he hopefully turns thing around.
Would you experiment? Would you try the Jordan Hicks experiment with Ryan Helsley?
Yes. I was just about to bring that up.
Making him a starter?
Yes.
Why can't I develop Liberatore? Why can't I develop that?
Liberatore doesn't have the stuff that Ryan Helsley has.
I mean,
let's just be honest. He's not as physically
not from
gifted.
A pure standpoint. What I'm saying is, why can't this organization develop starters so that we can leave Ryan Helsley in the closer spot where he's doing quite well?
Because they've picked the wrong guys over the last handful of years. It started we've talked about that before. Where that
was my point with Drew Rom, by the way.
The gap, Drew Rom. The gap that they had where Dakota Hudson and that whole group of guys came in, Reyes and all that, those guys were supposed to bridge the gap.
Yes, right.
And they couldn't
Flaherty.
And didn't. And so the Cardinals then had to go every year and go find veteran guys to plug the holes while the next group of young guys develops.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah. Martinez. I mean, at one point it was supposed to be Martinez and Reyes and Flaherty, even Walk if you go back far enough. I mean, you looked out and you said, man, this, no matter what, they're going to have good young starting pitching. And because of injuries and because Martinez was a knucklehead, like there were some things there. So you're right. It just hasn't worked out. Okay, but they have not replenished that at all. I mean, the pitchers that they do have coming up, they're not ready. Massive, right? Well, they're either not ready, or maybe to your earlier point, they're not good enough.
But why can't Helsley be one of those guys?
Do you think he's a starter?
He used to be.
Well, nobody thought Jordan Hicks was. Nobody.
Okay, well, trade him to the Giants, and then you can watch him be a starter.
I'm just saying.
I don't know if they can.
My interest, man.
I don't know if they can develop starters at this point.
Well, that's I think that's the bigger question.
Yeah.
Right now.
Like this group.
Yeah.
I think with him, though, he looks at Jordan Hicks and says, oh, wow, he can do that. I can do that. So I would not be shocked if he would try and make a push to be a starting pitcher in the future. You're going to make more money that way, especially if he's good at it. You know, he's got a deadly slider. He can throw the ball.
And he may have more pitches
really
than what
fast.
he's currently throwing.
Exactly.
We're finding out now that apparently Jordan Hicks had 7 pitches, maybe 5, but still. And he was only allowed to throw 2 here.
Was he only allowed to, or did he?
I don't know. But I don't see. That's what I don't know.
That's my question.
If he chose that,
that's my
the
question
team just
to
said
you.
no.
I can't imagine that they're like, no, don't throw any more pitches.
They may have been.
Well, then get everybody out. This is what I'm saying.
I'm telling you.
Clean house.
Why else would a guy not throw other pitches that he has?
I don't know. Did he develop? What came first, the chicken or the egg?
Probably.
Did he get to San Francisco and the Giants looked at him and they said, hey, man, you got more than 2 pitches? Or did he say, hey, I've got more than 2 pitches, but the Cardinals didn't let me throw them?
I would say it's probably the latter.
Based on the results?
Yes. Since he's coming in and throwing every other pitch at major league level as a starter, he didn't just develop it overnight, Anthony.
Where did these pitches come from?
Wilson Contreras was calling them.
Don't be picking on him.
I know.
It's the only bright spot.
Oh,
that is true.
Now he's hurt.
Sinker, split finger, sweeper, four-seamer. That's his pitch repertoire. 2022, sinker, sweeper, changeup. Barely threw the changeup. He was sinker, sweeper.
I know.
That's it in 2022.
So you can't tell me that he just all of a sudden developed 2 more pitches.
That's possible.
I mean, with the confidence that he's throwing them, I don't know how long the process takes to get a pitch to go for you.
I mean, all you got to do is fix your fingers on the ball. I mean, am I wrong?
Well, it's all about the fingers.
I mean, it usually is.
You got to throw it for strikes.
Well, yeah, but like if you practice, I feel like you could probably get good at it.
I think what Marsh is saying is that we could all be pitchers.
I mean, we could.
I mean, I've got fingers.
We could be pitchers.
I got fingers. Just got to practice more.
Well, my fingers hurt.
Now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. All right.
It's a different player.
Yeah. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Cardinals, Angels tonight. Matthew Liberatore goes for the Cardinals. Jose Soriano for the Angels. Angels 15-26 on the year. Cardinals 16-24, 10-13 on the road.
Barn burner.
The Angels are 5-14 at home. Well, they just Cardinals dropped 2 of 3 to the White Sox, so I don't think we are officially in that mode of you can't look at the opponent and say you got to beat these guys. That went out the window when you dropped 2 of 3 to the White Sox.
Anthony, this is a big series for the Cardinals.
We're about to find out all we need.
Probably the biggest.
Know about your Cardinals.
Well, we know that. Well, actually, we don't know who's going to be playing. Still waiting on that lineup.
Yeah, come on, Oli. You had more than enough time.
What
You
are
got
we
ejected.
guessing
You got ejected yesterday. You got more than enough time to give us that lineup. Tomorrow, Sonny Gray and Reed Detmers, and then on Wednesday, it will be Lance Lynn versus Griffin Caning. If you're looking at your pitching matchups, is it a 4-game series? No, it's not.
Who?
It's 3.
Griffin Caning.
That's how I felt this weekend.
Cardinals got an off day on Thursday. That's why Mo's headed out there. Heads are going to roll.
I highly doubt it, and neither do you.
I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we're still waiting on that lineup. Why don't we get to beat the streak and biggest question of the day then?
No, we need the lineup. We don't know who's playing.
That's a good point. How the hell are you going to beat the streak with nobody in the lineup, Anthony?
All right, take it easy, guys.
All right, Drew Rom.
Jeez. All right, well, fine. What do you guys want to talk about? Battlehawks? Sports.
Yes. Let's talk.
Get into the Battlehawks then. Talked enough Cardinals today, huh?
Oh, God, have we ever. Let's talk a different.
Battlehawks dropped a game over the weekend. A.J. McCarron hurt. We'll get into them next on 101 ESPN.
Let the weather warming up here in St. Louis. Perfect time to go purchase yourself a brand new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle. And the best place to do that is to visit my friends over at Johnny Londoff Chevrolet. They've got 2 locations. The original location right there in Florissant, Missouri. It's a landmark. We all know where that is. The brand new Londoff Autoplex located out in St. Peters, right off of Highway 70. They have tons of great inventory on the lot. They've got the Chevy Silverados. They've got the Chevy Blazers. They got the all-new 2024 Chevy Trax, too. What a great little SUV. Changed the body style just a little bit. My son just bought one not too long ago. Unbelievable value for the SUV that you get. And you can't put a price tag either on the customer service that you get at Londoff Chevrolet. They want to make sure that you are a customer for life. Like myself, been over 25 years now, been a Londoff customer, and now my children are Londoff customers. And that's the only place we'll go to get our vehicles. So please visit either location today, tomorrow, the next day, whenever you're looking for your car. When you get to those locations, tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And if you can't get there in person, visit them online. Great websites available with lots of fun stuff on there. And that's at Londoff.com or LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Battlehawks suffered a tough one over the weekend. They fall to the Birmingham Stallions, who remain undefeated. Back and forth game. Defensively, I honestly, guys, I thought the Battlehawks were so worried about Martinez's legs that they just played this soft zone all game, and they just got chewed up in the middle of the field, and it was unfortunate. Now, we got a lot of text. I was talking about the Battlehawks. I teased the Battlehawks, and there's a lot of text that rolled in. Well, there's like two, and two people were hammering us. You guys never talk City. Never talk City. You know, I thought, okay, so all right, let's talk some City here. I think
some news.
Bradley Carnell, you know, he comes out earlier today, and I thought that he made some really interesting points about City and the personnel. And one of the things, Jamie, that I think is most important. All right, that's going to have to wait. Time for the lineup here. Lineup game. Don't forget to tell me. Remind me about those points on City.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
I wrote them down.
All right, Cardinals, Angels. Tonight, 8:38. Jose Soriano. He's a right-hander, Jamie.
Pedro's brother.
Nope. What do you think, Jeff?
Look at Marshy.
Alfonso's brother?
Alfonso Soriano.
Who the hell is Pedro Soriano?
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it yet. It doesn't have to be the right name for it to be funny. Pedro Soriano? It's the whole pause and think.
Maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just you and Anthony was trying to tell a joke. I don't know. I just don't
We
get
still don't know what Anthony was doing.
I was trying to say that Drew Rom sucks. That's what I was trying to say.
Hey,
That's why I wasn't trying to say it, but you guys couldn't pick up on it.
It's a family.
Then why are you saying it now?
Because you guys still listen to you guys are.
He's losing his mind.
I am. I didn't want to say it.
What did Drew Rom do to you?
He stinks. Now he's hurt.
He's hurt. That's why he's not pitching very well.
My point was, yeah, they got two players, but I kept focusing on the one that was good. Come on, guys.
You're doing great, Anthony.
I know I was vague. I was purposely vague.
By the way, we got a text from the 618. Instead of beat the streak, you could just recap the dumb things Anthony has said today. That might fill a couple segments.
Oh, he hasn't been alone. We've both said some really stupid stuff.
I mean, that's pretty much what the show is. We all just kind of say dumb things and hope it sticks on a wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Brandon Donovan here?
No, he's not here. No, he's in L.A.
Brandon Donovan in the
sure
leadoff spot?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go.
Show us Brandon Donovan.
Oh, no, it's Marp. You just won a damn game with Marp. How do you not go back to broken back swing guy? His bat broke before the ball even got there.
Good call.
That's the problem is the clubhouse guys are sawing bats in half. That's why the Cardinals can't hit.
That's right. It's the bat's
Show
fault.
us. Salsa boy, Matt Carpenter. Wow. Yes.
Yep.
But he got a hit. Where's his scepter?
No, this team needs to win a series. I'm not playing Sounders because of one game.
You can't keep just moving the goalposts.
They won all game.
Yeah, then you said if they hit, they get a sounder. Marp led off with a hit.
No, that's not what we're doing. Let's win a series here.
Wow.
Let's get back into...
We did not put this to a vote.
No, I am as you guys say, the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
That's only for proving me wrong.
Well, I'm executing this.
Snake Pit was really angry that we weren't playing Sounders on Friday.
Hey, don't blame me. Blame the team.
Jesus, Marshy. We might never hear Sounders again.
I'm very steadfast in this. If they win this series, we'll hear some Sounders.
I kind of like it. I kind of like his conviction. This is something Marsh is passionate about.
Yeah, everyone wants to hold the team accountable. I'm doing it right now.
Good call. No, you're right. All right, so who's second here?
Oh, I don't know. God.
Did you say God? I wish God was hitting second for this team. You kidding me?
Goldie's back, baby.
No way.
Yes.
All right, go for it.
Show us. Paul Goldschmidt. Damn it. I thought he's back.
This could be Donovan. This could be Newt. This could be Donovan or Newt.
Go ahead. I don't care.
Well, who do you like out of Donovan or Newt?
Oh, I got to pick one.
Yes.
Donovan.
Show us Brandon Donovan. Show us Lars Newbar.
Why would Newt be hitting the 2-hole? He hasn't hit anything.
That's not true. He had the home run in Milwaukee when you lost 7-1.
He did. That actually that scored for me.
Dead center.
Yeah.
You got on the board again. All right. 3. This is where I could see Goldie.
Arenado or Goldie?
I think it's Goldie or Arenado.
All right, go ahead.
Show us RL Chalk. Show us Nolan Arenado.
Nolan. Okay, here's where it gets a little blurry. Is Herrera in at 5? Or who else would you go with here at 5?
Gorman's heating up.
Oh, yeah.
Can't run the bases, but he's heating up.
As long as he hits it out of the park, you can figure out the bases.
That's very true, yeah.
I like Gorman here.
I do too. Go ahead.
Show us. Nolan Gorman.
All right. Let's see here.
We need a catcher at some point here.
Yeah, Herrera. I could see Alec Burleson somewhere in this lineup. I think he's loading up the lefties, though. Carpenter,
Okay.
Newt, Gorman. This could be Donovan. I could see Donovan here. I could see Burleson here. What says you?
You can also see a Carlson somewhere in here, too, because not that he just swings it very good from the left side, but he does swing it there.
Forgot he was on the team, but yeah.
Need a center fielder.
Could be Herrera.
It's Siani, too. He's hot. He'll be in for sure.
Won the game for him yesterday. All right, so I say it's Herrera or Donovan or Burleson.
Yes.
What's your 1, 2, or 3?
I think it's Herrera here.
Show us Ivan Herrera. Oh, nice job, Jamie. All right.
Now I think it's Burley. I think Donnie's going to be like 8 or 9 for that like double leadoff type crap.
Okay. Double leadoff type crap. And I just went, okay.
So this is Burley here. I think it goes Burley, Wynn, Donovan. That's what I think. Don't know why, but I do.
Do you have a center fielder?
No, I don't. So I think it goes. Where's Siani?
You just said Siani's got to be in the lineup, too.
I just meant, you know what, Anthony? My lineup has 11 guys, okay? All right.
This is Mount Rushmore all over again.
That's a Canadian guy. That's why it's not my fault. We have 5 prime ministers on our rocks.
We used to do Mount Rushmore. We're so stupid.
All right.
Burleson.
Super Bad has to go in here somewhere. He's the hottest bat in the lineup.
I say Burleson, Wynn, and Siani. That's what I think. I don't think Donovan's in the lineup.
All right. Go ahead.
Show us Alec Burleson. All right.
Okay. I think it's Siani here.
Okay.
Show us Super Bad. Son of a.
Show us Mason Wynn.
Show us Brendan Donovan. All right. So this is Wynn and then Super Bad, right?
Yes. Show us Mason Wynn. Go ahead.
Show us Siani.
There we go.
That wasn't so hard.
Run it, Marsh.
All right, leading off your DH, Matt Carpenter, batting second in right field. Lars Taylor Tetsui Nukbar, batting third. First baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. Batting fourth, your cleanup hitter, third baseman, Nolan Arenado. Batting fifth, second baseman, Nolan Gorman. Batting sixth, the catcher, Ivan Herrera. Batting seventh, your left fielder, Brendan Donovan. Batting eighth, the shortstop, Mason Wynn. And batting ninth in center field, Michael Siani.
Back. They fair! I don't believe
Did you see what the water boy wrote?
No.
Home run.
Jamie has a rover in his lineup.
Playing softball. And hitting 10th, your rover tonight. Alec Burleson.
This double leadoff crap almost made me wreck my car. I'm sorry for being honest.
It's terrible. All right, Jamie, go ahead, man. I think you're leading.
Well, let's see here. I'll go with. I'm going to go with Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, you are. Hot hand.
Yeah, we'll see if this one works out.
He's got a 1-game hitting streak, baby. Or no, 2.
Yeah,
right?
get off his back, would you?
He had a hit in the 9th on Saturday. Get off his back. He was going for 3. 4.
Barry Jackman just texted us. I love when you guys smoke Hippo's products before the lineup change. 1, we don't smoke it, we eat it. But that's fine.
All right, Marsh.
I'm going to go with Ivan Herrera tonight.
All right, give me Nolan Gorman.
Nolan.
Give me Nolan Gorman. Who we giving for Carey?
Marp. He's hot.
Matt Carpenter goes to Carey. You don't text in. You're open to everybody throwing something in there.
You're right. Watch this Marp lead off homer.
I probably will.
He's a 3-pointer too. He's got to be. He should be a 6-pointer.
He's not Brandon Crawford.
What happened to us being nice today?
We're getting goofy now.
We were for 3 hours. But did you see what happened? Yeah. We were nice for 3 hours. We had a nice conversation. Somebody texted in and said all my points were dumb. So now guess what? We're going back to eating the hippo lettuce.
I'm getting a lot of crap for not playing these Sounders.
That's what I said. People were pissed.
Yeah, they said our record as a team, they dove into the analytics.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
The Cardinals' record is greater when the Sounders run.
I don't know about that.
And they also said, why punish them?
That's
the
true.
Cardinals.
We kind of do punish the listeners with that, but
what do you want me to do? I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place right now.
I get it, man.
Somebody's got to throw the hammer down.
You're a man of convictions. I don't.
Well said.
I don't blame you, man. You're doing great.
Don't be mad at me. You're mad at your dad.
You're not mad at me. You're mad at your father. All right. Now we can play Beat the Street.
Yes.
And biggest question of the day here on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, it's inevitable that Father Time, undefeated. We're seeing that in certain aspects here around St. Louis. But you can counter that. Head over to Mentality. They've got 2 great locations, South County and the Chesterfield location. And you get in there and talk about maybe why maybe you're tired more than you should be. Maybe the workouts aren't as good. Maybe you're not even working out at all. You're a little bit depressed. There's a reason. Mentality is there to help you. They're going to sit down, talk with you, and basically ask some questions, ask how you're feeling. Then the real test happens. You get the blood panel, and the blood panel doesn't lie. It's great. It covers everything, too. It's got your A1C. It's got your liver. You've got all this stuff, and Mentality puts together a program for you. For me, it was low on testosterone and certain other vitamins, and again, I'm on the peptides. All of it has been fantastic.
Jamie, we usually get 3 questions when it comes to Mentality. 1, do you guys actually go in? Go see for yourself. Go down to Chesterfield. Go down to South County. Talk to them. Talk to their front office people. Talk to them. Talk to their nurses who are fantastic. We go in there every week because it works. That's usually the second question. Hey, does it really work? Yes. I feel fantastic. When it comes to eating right and exercising and still having enough energy at the end of the day to play with the kids or do the house chores that need to be done, no problem. Jamie? It's all good.
It's all great, Anthony.
And I thank Mentality for it. So, yeah, does it work? Do you guys go down there? Absolutely. Is it safe? That's the other question we get. It is. It's safe. They monitor your blood, every 5 to 10 weeks, depending on where you are in the program. Make sure there's nothing else going on, that any sort of red flags or anything like that. Mentality's fantastic. LowTUSA.com. When you do head in, tell them Jamie and Anthony sent you. It's Mentality.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cards are back in action tonight, taking on the Los Angeles Angels. Matthew Liberatore on the mound going up against Jose Soriano. 8:38 first pitch. If you've missed any of our conversations regarding your St. Louis Cardinals, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We tried talking about the Battlehawks and City SC, of course, before the lineup game started. The Battlehawks lost to the Birmingham Stallions 30-26, and City SC defeated the Chicago Fire over the weekend by a final of 3-1. City SC will take on LAFC Wednesday with a start time of 7:30. We do have Beat the Streak and Biggest Question of the Day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I want to hit baseballs.
All of my successes depend on me.
You ready to hit?
The hits just keep on coming.
And his first big league hit is a bullet up the middle.
Time to play Beat the Streak here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Our guy Nick has got a nice streak going on. He's got a streak of threes on the line. What's up, Nick? Nick?
Yep.
What's up, buddy? Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right, Marsh, what do we got for our current streaks?
All right, Anthony, you have a streak of 4. Nick has a streak of 3. I have a streak of 1, and Jamie and Carey are back to 0.
Well, who picked my guy on Friday? Grant? Who the hell did he pick?
Pick Lars Nootbaar.
Damn it.
You like Newt.
I picked him the game before.
Well,
So
I think we just stuck with it. Yeah, we just stuck with it.
I know.
Don't be mad at Grant. Be mad at Lars. All right.
You're right, Anthony.
I'm gonna take Taylor Ward. Taylor Ward for my selection.
Really? You know it's bad when someone's picking someone from the Angels.
You know, I did not take a White Sox player.
Should have.
And I should have. So I stick with what brought me to the dance here. All right, Nick, what do you got? Or who do you got?
That's a tough one tonight. I'll go Lars. Hopefully Newt doesn't let me down.
All right. Marsh?
I'm going to go with Matt Carpenter. Back in the leadoff spot. I mean, come on. We're throwing it back. 10 years. Let's go.
There we are.
There you go.
Let's go, Matt Carpenter.
Let's go, Tom Brady. Jamie?
I'm going with super bad, Siani.
Okay. All right. Who should Carey have?
Carey, he has taken Nolan Arenado quite a few times.
I want to give him Goldie.
Okay.
Goldie. He's red hot. He's tearing the cover off the ball. Yep. All right, Nick. Good luck, man.
I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you, buddy. Marsh, somebody in the Snake Pit, I think Alex from the Snake Pit said that you are the best member of the Fast Lane.
Wow. Whew. Not even a criticism and compliments yet.
It's kind of that's a double-edged sword. It's a massive compliment to Marsh. And it's a dagger to Jamie, me, and Carey. It's a criticism and a compliment.
It is.
That's why it works so well. All right, biggest question of the day. Go.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
All right, gentlemen. So earlier we were talking about the Brewers and the Cubs and why they tend to have a little bit more success than the Cardinals as of late. And one of the reasons that we brought up was the idea of them moving on from players earlier than what the Cardinals do. So I have a question for you, and this also pertains to the Blues as well, where the Blues, we've seen the Blues move on from players maybe too early, give or take. You know, Alex Pietrangelo, a lot of people didn't want Perron to leave either. But, you know, that's what happens when your sport is in a cap, a cap sport. So the question is, where do you think the Blues and Cardinals would be if they switched philosophies? If the Cardinals were the team that went and got rid of players a little early and the Blues held on to some players?
Ooh, well, a couple of the decisions would have had major impact on the Blues. Like the first one, if you go back, was the David Backes situation. Army made a very tough decision and said that he was going to move on from David Backes because he wouldn't give him the same amount of years that other teams were looking to give him. And that one proved to pay off. And so who would David Backes had blocked? Would it have been a Robert Thomas? Would it have been, because you have to think down the line. He would have been in your lineup. He would have been blocking somebody, maybe in a third line role at that point. And maybe you don't go get Pat Maroon. Maybe you can't bring Robert Thomas in.
Can you even have Ryan O'Reilly on your team?
Well, maybe you don't.
Yeah.
You're right. So maybe Ryan O'Reilly is the guy that, so there's always a butterfly effect in all the things you do. But I think the first notable one that Army moved on from was David Backes. So had he held on to David Backes, unfortunately, we saw the decline for David Backes.
Right.
Big, physical, hard on his sleeve player, all of those things, but it caught up to him fast. So, I think the Blues would have been in worse shape had they started off with the Cardinals' philosophy when it comes to that. David Perron, he came and left so many times. You're like, I don't know which version. Ultimately, I think the best version of David Perron was his last stint with the Blues.
I also wonder if moving on from David Perron, David Backes, maybe Army looked at that and said, that wound up being a good call. He also moved on from Troy Brouwer because those two were
very similar style players,
and they moved
same
on.
off season.
Now Petro, not a similar player to either, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe the thought process was, I moved on from other veterans before. It worked out fine. I'm going to do that again here. And not that he wanted to move on from Petro, because he did want to bring him back, but it got to the sticking point. And because he moved on from Backes and it worked out, maybe it gave Doug Armstrong a little, confidence that he could replace Petro.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I don't know that one way or another. I'm just thinking the process, just like you did with Mo earlier when you thought about the be patient, when he became the be patient. Because what we've done in the past and what results we got in the past kind of lead us to future decisions. So I mean, maybe that was part of it.
Could be, for sure. And for every president or GM, there's always ones that you'd like to do a do-over.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that Army has regrets over the Pietrangelo thing, but I think that if you gave him a glass of truth serum, he probably would say, yeah, he'd be pretty good on our team right now.
Yeah.
But, hey, hindsight is wonderful when you can go back and evaluate things based upon current results from past decisions. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think for me, again, I think that the philosophy of moving on before the player hits their crescendo to where they're now the back nine, it's always a moving stick, right? Like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, who would have ever thought, and we don't even know this to be true yet, but who would have ever thought the decline for Paul Goldschmidt would be what it was? Just like that, wham. Anthony, he's still, even last year, he was terrible. No,
that's why I would have traded him.
And I agree with that.
I'm only kidding.
But we also...
I didn't see this decline.
The flip side of it is, Goldie's in great shape, takes care of himself, does all the right things, he works hard. So he
plays first base, which is...
We'll see the decline, but, it won't be like, wham. And who knows? Maybe he turns things around. Maybe things look different here for the rest of the season. One can hope. But it's tough. That's the toughest job in pro sports, is managing the aging athlete and when to move on and when to keep guys.
Other than Goldschmidt, is there another player when it comes to the Cardinals that they should have moved on from? Does Matt Carpenter come to mind from that contract?
Yeah.
I mean,
Fowler shouldn't have been signed.
Yeah.
But Carpenter, yes.
Carpenter, they shouldn't have thrown the extension out there.
What about Miles Michaelis?
You have nobody else, though.
Yeah. 2 years ago, Miles Michaelis was really good. That's a good question, Marsh. I mean,
because we're talking about getting rid of them early.
I would have loved to see Wayno a year before.
Oh, Anthony!
I would like to see him go out with his buddies.
I would have loved to see that.
Because last year, although he got to that 200, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
It's not the Adam Wainwright I want to remember. You know?
But he did get to the 200s. So I get it. And it was in a losing season, so it's not like...
He had a good opener that night.
Hey, y'all. You need to stop.
Hey, y'all. Look, Wayno showed up.
He's there.
What's his number one jam that you like?
I like Hey, y'all.
Hey, y'all. Okay. Yeah.
Name me another one.
He likes
the
what is
album.
it called? There's Time to Fly.
Yeah.
And then One Day They Won't. That one's actually kind of sad. It'll put you in your feels.
Okay.
Talking about your kids growing up, and one day they won't be there. You know?
Oh, that's awful.
What's going to happen to them?
Well, they grow up and move out of the house.
I thought it was really dark song.
Jesus.
That was a good one, though. I like that one. I mean, it's sad, but it's a good song.
Yeah.
Country
like you said,
songs
hits
are
in the
supposed
feels.
to be sad.
But hey, y'all, I mean, that one's great.
Country songs are not supposed to be sad. I mean, they can be.
Do you know how many guys have lost their jobs, their wife, their dogs?
How many are driving down a back road drinking beers, though? That doesn't sound sad.
Well, it sounds like it's a bit of a risk, Marshy.
Very true.
In my world, we don't do that. In my world, my Uber guy's driving down a dirt road, and I am hanging out the back window. Where are we going, sir? Just keep driving on this dirt road, please.
I lost everything. All right. Shout out to Tanisha, too, in the snake pit. She goes, I love the members of the Fast Lane. Every member would not be the same if all were not doing the show. They crack me up every day. And, of course, the snake pit is awesome as always.
Yes.
It absolutely is. Definitely.
What a great response.
What a great response. And it leads us into criticisms, compliments. Of course, we got Bet the Board. Also the 3 stars. 3 stars of the day. All next on 101 ESPN. Hey, did you know the kitchen is often considered the heart of the home, where families gather to cook, eat, and spend time together? And the average American spends 37 minutes a day in the kitchen. That's why if you want to remodel the kitchen, now's the time to call Mosby Building Arts, because if you call in by June 30th, and your first appointment could be after June 30th, but you got to call in before June 30th, they're going to give you a $2,500 Airbnb gift card with a kitchen remodel. So if you're going to remodel your kitchen anyways, why not go with Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company? Get yourself a $2,500 Airbnb gift card, but you got to, again, do it before June 30th. So call, book your appointment. When it comes to Mosby, I'm so impressed with them, because when it comes to other companies, a lot of times you'll get the initial offer, and they'll say, yeah, we could do all of this for this amount of price, and you think you're saving all this money up front. They don't even come out to measure the kitchen. They don't come out, they don't take the proper measurements, and all of a sudden they start adding on things. Well, this is going to cost this much, you're going to add this and that. Mosby Building Arts, it's an experience. They have a designer come out to your home. They work with you to design the look and feel of your kitchen. They do a great job when it comes to starting the project only when all the products are in and everybody's ready to go. And then you have your own team of plumbers, your own team of, again, the designers, your own team of electricians. And they stay with you week in and week out. They check in constantly to say, hey, this is where we're at right now. Do you have any questions? So that everything is up front. But again, now's the time. If you want a kitchen, you're remodeling, give Mosby a call. $2,500 Airbnb gift card with a kitchen remodel. You're going to go with Mosby. Do it. They're fantastic, and you're not going to regret it, because Mosby Building Arts, they are the right remodeling company. 314-909-1800. Call Mosby.com. the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you miss anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board. Marsh, what's our latest standings?
All right, Anthony, you are leading leading the group. You are 6-2. I am in second, 5-3. Carey is in third, who is 2-6, and Jamie is 1-7, fourth place.
All right, let's go tonight. I really like the pitching matchup in the Guardians-Rangers game. And by that, I mean, I think that both guys are going to get lit up. Give me the over 9 in the Guardians-Rangers game.
Wow.
Over 9 runs, Guardians-Rangers. Tanner Beebe, Michael Lorenzen. Texas has an awful bullpen, too. So, yeah, give me the over 9.
I'm going to go with the Colorado Avalanche tonight. Just straight up money line. They're down 2-1 in the series against Dallas. I think that series goes the distance, and they play pretty well at home. So I think they respond and they tie the series tonight.
All right, Colorado.
Uh-oh. Big sigh from Jamie.
Yeah, I'm looking at 2 different options here. I'm going to go with Dallas. I think that over the Avalanche. I just think that the goaltender matchup favors the Dallas Stars. Georgiev is such a wild card, and Ottinger has been so good for the Dallas Stars. I'm going to go with the Dallas Stars over the Avalanche.
All right. And I think we should give Carey. Do you have an idea?
I was thinking this Cleveland-Boston series is interesting. I thought Boston was going to sweep them, and then Donovan Mitchell said, hold on now. But Boston is minus 11.5 on the spread. What do you think?
I think Cleveland plus the 12 at home. That's a lot of points.
That is.
Home dog, 12 points. That's a lot. I would lean that way. I don't know if Carey would do it. I also know that Carey kind of likes OKC. He does,
and they're plus 1.5.
Let's give him OKC. I think he would respect that.
Straight up?
No, we'll give him the plus 1.5. Why not? I don't think it'll matter, but OKC plus 1.5.
All right.
There you have it. Marsh, what do you got for 3 stars of the day?
Let's get to our
criticisms column.
Criticisms, compliments.
Got plenty of time for that.
The 217, worst part of Cardinals sucking is I don't listen to the show. Not your guys' fault at all, but I'm just so mad I don't even want to hear about it, even though you guys do such a great job during these times. Damn them birds.
What the hell?
That was a really good crab sandwich.
It really was. Now, are they listening to text that in? I guess they said they don't listen as much. Boy, that really hurts my heart. Screw you, Cardinals.
We get rated upon our actual ratings, so it would really help if you listened more than not. Even if you hate what you're listening to, just put it on.
Yeah, hate listen. We don't care. We don't mind.
I don't mind, please.
You can hate us.
All good. From the 636, criticism and compliments. Jamie.
Uh-oh.
I'm always pleasantly surprised by your baseball takes. You're smarter than you look.
Oh.
Wow.
That was
True.
That was a crap sandwich with, like, crap on top.
Yeah.
Like a crap
what happens,
sprinkle.
Anthony, is when people see somebody who's really, really ridiculously good looking, they just figure that they're not smart.
True.
So then when you're really
ridiculously good looking,
then they go, oh, he's smarter than he looks.
Yeah.
Because he's so good looking that just figure he's not smart.
Sure.
So I appreciate all of that. Thank you.
Merman. It's Merman.
We got a message from the Snake Pit from the Josh Innes show. Marshy is bae. Wow, thank you.
From the Josh Innes. Thank you for listening, Josh, while you're on your own radio program.
He's probably done. He's about to be done.
I love it.
He doesn't talk a ton, so. Nobody talks more than Josh.
Josh in his show also says,
he's back.
I can't fathom being mad about the Cardinals. They are so bad that I'm apathetic. I feel like that's where a lot of people are right now.
Josh says that, but he comes in every day fired up about the Cardinals. That's not apathy.
He's usually fired up about something. There's always something for Josh. We love you, Josh.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to the Waney weather today.
The Waney?
I don't think you were in here for that.
Yeah, the Waney Rhett. It's Rhett and Waney out. That's what I said on one of my live reads.
Oh, did you? I missed it.
I went to say wet and rainy.
And you combined them?
Rhett and Waney. You wasquey wabbit.
Did you correct yourself on the fly?
Kind of, ish. Let's get the feet moving, Anthony.
Sure, yeah.
Speaking of Wayne, Hey Y'all, the song is our 2nd star of the day by Adam Wainwright.
Yeah.
And our 1st star of the day, despite Anthony thinking he is not a good baseball player, Drew Rom is our 1st star of the day.
Why?
Isn't that beard?
What has he done? For Andrew Marsh, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.